tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Monday. We're waiting on Blake and Aaron. Sorry, I'm trying to get a little bit of a earlier start in the mornings, a couple of seconds earlier, so I can play my intro. I'm still trying to feel out precisely how we're going to do the radio show, because technically, if I were on radio right now, we still wouldn't start for about 10 minutes, so we would be starting around 7:30. So we might have to end up having a little 10-minute pre-chat before the show starts. But we will figure out all of those timelines here shortly. Good morning, Blake and Aaron.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Everything good?
Yeah. You sound like a robot, though.
I do? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you're good
That's
now.
better.
I'm
Let's
ready
see
for
your
the
face.
day. It's going to be a hot one today.
Is it going to be hot? Let's see your face.
Hot tea.
I mean, hold on. You're one of those people who likes to see me in the mornings.
Well,
You
you're
wanna make
seeing
sure,
us.
You want to make sure it's me.
There you are. You're not an imposter.
No.
We need to
I
work on
know.
the filter. On our side.
I've got some listeners who are like that as well. They're like, I need to see you.
I have a good filter for my face. You ready?
Yeah. Let me see it. Hold on. Where is it?
It's peekaboo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look
my
much better.
goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Why is it going to be hot today?
Gosh, we got a whole lineup of discussion. We're not live on your end yet.
Not live yet. No.
Not live yet. Okay, we have a whole lot of this end that's been going on. So it's been a very eventful weekend. So we got
Is there a car accident that's like over, like on the way to, like, let's say maybe around Spots or something?
there was multiple car accidents this weekend. Which one was that? Sorry.
No, like this morning, because there was a lot of traffic
Oh,
leading to the Grand Harbor roundabout.
I did see somebody message me this morning to say, no, this was a jackass dump truck. No, I haven't heard of any yet.
Yeah, the driving this morning was horrendous. Normally it's Aaron on a soapbox, but just horrendous on my 4-mile drive into work.
It's
Wow.
always horrendous. People, I mean,
Just ridiculous.
the traffic was bad, and then you still get the people that just want to keep driving like no one else matters. Like, hey, I'll crash into you, and it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
cool.
No.
Yeah, lots of crazy drivers out there.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I were talking over the weekend. There should be somebody that's a unit that specifically targets, dump trucks and big
It's the traffic
commercial
department. They should be.
vehicles or driving, too fast. Or
They always
reckless
overtake and go
driving.
so fast.
Yeah, that's traffic. You know what people need to start doing, Blake and Aaron? They need to get them a dash cam, and they need to start reporting the video footage to the police from the dash cam. I had to do that recently
Yeah.
for someone who almost caused an accident, and you better believe the police ticketed them.
Did they?
Yeah. They ticketed them, and in fact, where they made that maneuver, they actually said that that's a known area of concern, and they were going to reach out to the NRA about trying to see if they could fix that with some cones. So I think sometimes you just got to reach out to the authorities, but obviously, you need evidence. It's like the one time I saw I assumed it was your child's mother allowing a toddler to sit in her lap and drive in 5 o'clock traffic.
In where traffic? Not like just on. I mean, everyone does that, like in like a small
Down.
little road, but not like
Yeah.
in an actual
Down
busy
South
road.
Sound.
Done
Down
on
south.
my-
Down South Zone.
Oh no, Yeah,
No, like,
not on
just-
major roads.
No, on a tiny little road.
Residential
You're
road.
like, yeah,
It
perfect.
wasn't even sorry, I dropped my eye. It wasn't even just South Sound. It was the intersection right by Scotiabank. Like they were coming from the Eastern
Oh my
District.
God.
Yeah, that's
Terrible.
Yeah,
dangerous.
I thought, who does this? And
Let's go
that one
live.
day, my dash cam didn't catch it. I had an eyewitness, but the police is like, "Yeah,
Ooh.
you need that dash cam.
Stand by.
Get a dash cam." Oh, speaking of which, I need to message someone about that dash cam.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Well, hello, Sandy. Good morning.
Good morning, Blake and Aaron, and everyone listening on 106.1 FM.
You sound like the internet.
Oh, no,
I
we're
know.
gonna- yeah.
What's your slogan for 106? I feel like I should say it this morning. Easily
What's
listen. I was gonna say, what's your slogan for 106?
Ooh, do we need to reconnect?
I don't even think it's reconnect. I think it's our internet because my internet keeps on my computer
is
is
it?
very slow. So we might not be getting the feed as well from you as usual.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Oh, well.
It seemed to be going so.
Buenos dias. Good morning. Good morning. No, I'm good.
There you are. All right, let's rip through the headlines while we got you.
Must be your internet. All right, folks. Thank you so much for logging this morning. So quite a bit was going on over the weekend, including pretty big news that Queen Elizabeth II actually tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I know last week we mentioned that her son had it, so it's probably
And then
not
Camilla
entirely-
got it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably not entirely unexpected. They said she's having mild symptoms. She has been triple vaccinated, which is good news. For a minute there, we weren't really sure about that.
Oh, of course she was. I mean, she was always going to be,
Mhm.
Yeah,
protect the queen.
she is
And
in her
she's not
90s.
She's not into QAnon, so it's cool.
Yeah.
That would be wild if she was.
Yeah. So, and a bit of sadder news. On Saturday morning, most residents of the Cayman Islands woke up to hear the news of a gentleman by the name of Ian Ellington having, unfortunately, met his demise in Jamaica. He's known more popularly as Toto British, and unfortunately,
I read the story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
So
Super sad.
he was gunned down in Jamaica,
Mm.
and he
Yeah.
was he a DJ here?
he was a promoter.
A promoter.
Yeah,
Mm.
and construction worker by trade.
Ah, did he have a dual work permit?
Let's not
Don't
go
know.
there, Aaron. That one's a very interesting case. You'll have to listen to the show later on because you'd find it very interesting, actually. But yeah, there's a little bit of permit issues. So,
I mean, it's sad though. It doesn't matter. He lost his life, and that's
yeah,
That's
absolutely. So we definitely extend our condolences to his family. A Cuban national was stopped last night on a Cayman Airways flight yesterday afternoon, going to Cuba for having undisclosed cash on him, over $10,000 worth of cash, and it has created quite a little swirl in the community, in the discussion groups about money that's allowable. So, people should just be aware that the criteria to declare money over a certain amount goes in both directions, both incoming and outgoing. Because even I had to think about this for a second. I'm like, okay, no, I see it on the incoming declaration, but do you declare it when you're going into other countries? But of course you do.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
just be
Sandy, we're
careful.
gonna jump. I think we're gonna jump off because we can only understand like every third or fourth
Yeah.
word. So it's the internet. I think for some reason this morning.
it's as bad as the driving on this
Mercury's
island.
in retrograde. So
Yeah, all right.
sorry about that.
Yeah, we both.
I think
said
we
that
need
at
to
the same time.
restart our router. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm good though. Can you guys hear me okay? Olivia, Rowena, good morning. Can you guys hear me? Good morning, Dawn. Am I having any issues? I mean, my internet is normally pretty solid. Y'all know I got Flow. So Flow be like clickety clacking. Let me do a speed test. Should be getting some decent speeds this morning. Let me see. One thing I've discovered is when you do a speed test, you got to make sure that you select the Flow server, because, for example, sometimes the Digicel one wants to come up as the default here. And if I select that one, Digicel doesn't go up to the speeds which I have. But yeah, Don says he can hear me fine. All right. I don't know what's going on with Blake and Aaron, something in the connection this morning, but these things happen. I'm going to be connecting remotely into the radio station, so I really hope that we don't have any issues there. But all right, well, you know what? It gives us an opportunity to get our day started. Good morning, Stephen. Stephen says he can hear me. Uncle Dick says he can hear me loud and clear. Good morning to Gina. Good morning to the beautiful Sue. Miss Sue says the queen will be just fine. She is a tough, strong lady. Yeah, but she is also in her 90s, no matter how tough and strong you are, when you hit a certain age, you never know. But let's kick off the news this morning. We got a lot to talk about from Monday Rewind. So let's go ahead and play your Monday Rewind jingle and get on it.
Time for Monday Rewind. The Cold Hard Truth's Monday Rewind show recaps the weekend's news and events so you don't miss a beat.
Don't miss out.
All the weekend's source, news, gossip, and well, it wouldn't be a weekend recap show without traffic accidents too. Cayman Marl Road is Cayman's #1 news source and has the island's hottest morning talk show.
It's the hottest.
Make sure you don't miss a beat with Monday Rewind.
Rewind.
Tune in every Monday from 7:30 a.m. on both YouTube and Facebook.
All right, folks. So good morning to one and good morning to all. It seems like you guys can hear me just fine. So you know what? Let's kick off the show. It is another segment of Monday Rewind. So good morning to Diamond Princess, Ulisa. Good morning. Good morning to Morna. Rosemarie's here. Virtuous Ja Rover says, I got the communists in court today. Send one of your reporters. It's going to be epic. Who's the communists? You have to remind me, Ja, which case this is. Is this a civil case? Good morning to Don. He says, have a great day to all. Filling up my cup this morning. What's the news? Well, we got a lot. Your cup is probably going to be overflowing here in a minute. Rowena, good morning. So good to see you. Olivia, Miss Sue. We got Hero Blair. He said he's hearing quite well. Stephen joining us from the UK. Good morning to Nadine. Miss Morna says loud and clear. Yes. All right. Sandy, good morning to you, my dear. How are you? So good to see you, love. Cecilia's here, loud and clear. Chantal, good morning. How is everyone? Yes, God save the queen. Well, she's up in age now, so I reckon she's got another good 4 years to go. I ain't trying to put my goat mouth on her, but one thing I must say about this royal family is they have some long genes, honey child. Her husband, they all live a really long time. How old was her father when he died? I feel like he must have been the youngest. How did he die again? I don't even know. I wasn't around then, but she must get it from her mother's side of the family because they're long living people. And I know she's very, very strict with her health regimen. So I'm sure COVID isn't going to be what's going to take her out. And she's still getting around. And believe it or not, she is still, he had lung cancer. Really? Was he a smoker? Yeah, back in the day, listen, lung cancer is very, very serious even now. And there are lots of things, obviously, that can contribute to that. But I find that if you probably don't smoke, your chances of getting it are relatively low. But yeah, they got some awesome genes. And in fact, she's going to be continuing most of her, she actually has stuff on her agenda still to do this week, which is super crazy in my opinion. Quite interestingly enough, last night I was watching a YouTube video about her son Andrew and this settlement with this woman. They say it's probably anywhere between 10 to 20 million pounds that he has probably settled with her. And, someone trying to send me an image, but it won't download. So, my apologies. So yes, quite interestingly enough, I think it's going to be just fine. She's got a couple things on the agenda. I'm sure she'll get a little bit more rest than normal. She's strong. I wonder if she exercises. Do you think she exercises? I know she eats very, very regimented. She has a pretty good diet from what I understand. But in terms of exercising, do you ever wonder if the Queen exercises? She probably goes for like little country walks with her dogs. I know she's a dog lover. And yeah, so I was saying I was watching this thing with her son. What a hot mess. Everybody feels like he did it. Everybody feels like, especially now that he's settled. And apparently they are saying he may not even have this money, and that Mommy Dearest might have to bail him out. And the general sentiment is that Andrew was her favorite son. Even the Queen has a favorite child. I'm lucky. I only have one child, so that better be my favorite. I'm kidding. So yeah, what a mess. They've lived, the interview, it was 60 Minutes Australia. Go check it out. And the interesting thing about the interviewer is that they were saying how they actually interviewed people who were formerly of the like security detail in the royal family and stuff like that. And everybody basically said that he's a real prick. They're like, Andrew is not a likable person. He's the least likable member of the royal family. Everything that you think of when you think of royals, like entitlement and all this kind of stuff, that totally was him. They're like, oh, he was so disgusting to have to work for. And so she's like, oh, why do you think more people haven't come forward? And he said, listen, you sign NDAs, and the royal family is still pretty powerful, so people are afraid. And if you're still of working age, you better not say anything, because you probably never get another job again in the UK if they don't sue you. But this guy was like, she's like, did he have a nickname? And the guy said, yeah, his nickname was the D word. Like, that's just how people described him. And apparently in his bed, he had 50 something stuffed animals, which is just so weird. Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes my skin crawl. But he had all these stuffed animals. And apparently he was very, very precise. So the guy was like, there's a photo in the nightstand next to his bed of the stuffed animals. And he's like, when he first saw it, he's like, why is this here? This is so weird. And basically he was told that the maids have to keep that photo there, because if they don't put the stuffed animals exactly in the same order as you see in that photo, he's going to go ape on them, kind of thing. And it was like, somebody's tightly wound up. It was really a very interesting interview, because you got a little bit more of an insight into who Prince Andrew could be. I mean, when people start to talk, I mean, they don't normally say that, oh, you're such a wonderful person. But yeah, some of it was pretty bizarre. And then I watched another video about Meghan and Harry that was done this month as well. And they're going on and on about, oh, will they ever return to the UK? I'm thinking, why would they? I mean, they probably want to get so far away from the royal family. I get that for Harry, that's obviously family. But let me reassure you, sometimes you want to run as far away from family as you possibly can. So yeah, I mean, I'm just flabbergasted at some of the stuff that I hear. So talking about flabbergasted, thank you, Carol. Carol, you're a wealth of information. Sari says it wasn't clear on the radio when I was listening, but it's good on Facebook. So that means there's probably a little issue between the connection here and there. But anyway, 56 years old. He was very young. Wow. Yeah, I know that back then, smoking was much more acceptable, and not just smoking, but I felt like probably at his age, he would have grown up in I don't know if it would it be classified as the industrial era, but it was probably a time when, there was a lot of pollution that, people didn't understand the dangers of the air quality and all these sorts of things. And you just went on about your business, really. Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Aliano. Says it's probably internet latency. I don't know, but my internet over here is clickety clacking. The upload speed, which is what I'm most concerned about, is wonderful this morning. It's well over 200. So I somehow doubt that it's on my end, but you never know. Between here and there, between Georgetown and Savannah is a long way off. So not really. I'm being facetious, trust me. Ms. Brenda reminds us that cancer can also be genetic. It can have a genetic component. Absolutely. Yeah, people kind of feel a way about her getting paid off. Like, she could have fought it. And, I don't know. I think he had to make certain admissions. Apparently, she was very, very precise, her legal team, about what they wanted him to say. And whilst he didn't exactly admit abusing her, he did have to admit that she was a victim. So it was worded in a particular way where it was like, again, blaming Epstein and Ghislaine, what's her name, Maxwell. And, they even said how Andrew in this interview was so close to Ghislaine that they even wondered if the two of them had a sexual relationship because they spent a lot of time together. And it was just that kind of vibe that the staff got from them. I don't put it past anybody. I don't give a hoot if you are royal or not. To me, that means very, very little because, royalty historically has not had the best reputation in the world. They're swingers just like non-royals. And they're out there abusing people. And they've always had the protection of the title of royalty to be able to protect them. So even back in the day, some of the things that would get you stoned in the town square, if you were royal doing those exact same things, nothing would happen to you. So yes, you were able to molest people's children. You can have your pick of young girls. And that was considered normal. We now live in an era where even the royals will be brought down by these types of scandals. So Amaria, good morning to you. All right, so let's talk about the first story that we have up this morning. Lots of kind of bad news this weekend, I felt like. The first story was the untimely death of Mr. Ian Ellington. You guys might remember Ian because he was actually featured on CMR some months back. So let me just show you guys a few pictures of Ian here. So Ian has unfortunately met an untimely demise in his home country of Jamaica. This is Ian. He was remember we talked about him? He goes by the name of Toto British. We actually spoke about Ian back in the summer of last year because Ian was caught up in a little bit of a love triangle with a young lady who went and destroyed a vehicle at his wife's house. Now, there's a little bit of mix up about who actually owned the vehicle. The girlfriend said that she paid for it, that she owned it. He was saying that it was his vehicle. So I don't know in the end whose vehicle it was, but things were getting a little bit hot for him. Ian was married to a Cayman Jamaican lady. And after that drama, and then shortly after that, there was more drama because he was also the promoter with the Intense shows. Remember, Intense was the guy who went to the school and it was confirmed that, he had Intense go to the school. I think it was John Gray, a bit unplanned and unannounced, according to the school. So, yeah. So over the weekend, I woke up to hear the sad news that unfortunately he had been killed in Jamaica, and not just killed, but killed in a very, oh my gosh, shocking way. He was essentially shot at least 10 times by someone in his vehicle that he was in at the time. And there was a young lady in the vehicle. So there he is. And there was a young lady in the vehicle with him when he met his untimely demise. So of course, right away you're like, oh my God, 37-year-old gunned down in Jamaica, shot 10 times in the upper body and basically the head. Whenever someone shoots you there, trust me, they're ensuring that you will not survive under any circumstances when they shoot you like 10 times. A bit of an overkill, to be quite honest. Seems very, very personal, like somebody upset about something, obviously. And so, yeah, a lot of people were right away trying to figure the puzzle out. Like, oh my God, what has happened here? And so, undoubtedly, it is interesting. Very, very sad news. We do express our condolences. I understand his mom actually lives in the Cayman Islands still. Ian's story was quite interesting because he had actually he had some issues with immigration, where he was involved in a robbery locally back in 2013, I believe it was. And as a result of that, he lost his rights to work. And so after he lost his right to work, he's married at the time to Cayman and had a child with her. He then, I think, remarried to someone else shortly after that. And then he sued the Cayman Islands government, immigration essentially, for not considering his human rights. And it was a very interesting case because the judicial review basically said that he was entitled, when he appealed it to the Immigration Appeals Tribunal, they said that they had made an error, but then the way that their judgment was written, it didn't take into consideration that they should have looked at his Section 9 of the Constitution regarding his Bill of Rights, right to family life and whatever that section is, right? So essentially he won a pretty big case against the immigration department, in the sense that, they were then told that they had to go back and reconsider his application in light of that section of the Constitution. But it was still an ongoing matter, because even after he got married, this is an interesting thing, is he was not permitted to actually work in the Cayman Islands. So he was still on a visitor's visa. This is really kind of bizarre, but he was actually still on a visitor's visa up until the point he left last year. And so he was forced to leave the jurisdiction, I think, because, he things were getting a little bit hot for him. He had a situation where, these women were starting to fight over him, and it became very, very public. It was featured in CMR. I guess you can't probably get much more public than that. There was the intense situation. Interestingly enough, at the time of the intense situation, he actually spoke to me about that. And he said, listen, it's not really how people are perceiving it to be. And he kind of gave me a little bit of information. So, I did have a word with him. The last I spoke to him was, this was back in July 21st. And so, he had a sense of humor, child. I must tell you. I've got this new app where I'm going to be able to show you guys my phone, and I think you're going to see some of these things interesting. But in the meantime, let me show you what he said, because you'll find this kind of humorous. I found that he had a sense of humor. There's certain people that from a distance, I'm like, yeah, he's probably a cool guy. And I want to talk about something here. I saw somebody comment about his wife, like, oh, she's talking to the media. And, why would she be talking to the media? And I'm like, well, she can talk to anybody she wants, first of all. And she was in the middle of trying to divorce Ian. I think that was probably publicly known. But, these relationships can be very, very complex. Trust me, I've seen more complex relationships than this. You're divorcing the person, but maybe you still love them or you have feelings for them. And she's never really had much negative things to say about Ian, even during the drama that ensued over the summer. She never really said anything negative about him. All she said is that he really loves women. And that, was the issue, I guess, the major issue between the two of them. She always said he was smart. He was hardworking. He was a Tyler by profession, but he's the type of guy who could pick up on almost anything when it came to like the construction world. They got into the promoter business, and he was, able to use connections to get people here. They had a number of different shows that they put on over the years, one called Dapper Daps or something. I don't know what any of these things mean really, but I think she still, when I would listen to her talk about him, I felt like the two of them would probably always be connected. And so he was still messaging her, wishing her a happy new year and Merry Christmas and saying how he loves her. And, she's trying to get him to sign divorce papers, but it was always going to be obviously a back and forth situation. And he was happy not to sign them. So I'll show you guys this because this is a little bit funny. So the last time I spoke to Ian was during the summer. And I said to him, he says that I'm not a player. And this is very interesting because this is going to come in to, you're going to see the context of why I'm sharing this with you here in a second. So I said to him, just a word of advice. This is back in June when the situation was going on with the car. I said, listen, I mean, most women accept that a lot of Jamaican, a lot of Caribbean men in general are players, right? Players is the American term. Caribbean, Jamaicans call it, what do you call it? Gallus or whatever, right? So I said to him, listen, if you just want to be a player and you're not looking for anything serious, why don't you just be straight with the women in your life? Tell them that. Don't mislead women. I find that when you mislead people, that's when you're going to run into issues. If you're honest with everybody, if you say, listen, I'm a free agent, I'm not getting tied down by anybody, which means I'm not going to get married. Because when you marry people, that's normally an indication that you want to be solo with them, right? So just say, but this is where marriage is, like, you question why people get married. This is why people question marriages of convenience, right? If you want to be a player, play hard and play long. That's your business. But I think the thing is a degree of honesty to just let the women and men in your life, I suppose it goes both ways, know that you intend to play the field for a bit longer and you're not ready to settle down. You're a free agent. I still want to date. And this is what I was saying to him. I said, hey, I mean, if you just want to be a player, not looking at anything serious, be straight. And some girls like that anyway. Because I know some of y'all be like, ooh, I'm not tied down either. I can just have my little kicks here and there, get a little tweaking job, midnight from 12 to 12:15, and then we're all good. So, and I said, so that may not be a problem for them. And I said, laughing out loud, just saying. And he replied, and he said, LOL. And I said, we can, I was inviting him on the show at the time if he wanted to talk it out and address it. And then he responds and he says, I'm not a player. This is what he said to me. I'm not a player and I'm not with Rhonda. Now, Rhonda's the wife. So she just needs to stop painting the picture like that. And I said, okay. And I said, well, maybe you just need to speak the truth. Because, I'm all about trying to speak the truth. So I'm like, maybe you just need to speak the truth. So then he didn't really respond to that. So then fast forward now, back in July the 21st, I messaged him and he said, Wagwan. I can hear it now. Wagwan. And I said, yo, me see you living your life in Jamaica, because he believed in living large. Now, he was one of those people who, unfortunately, this is WhatsApp web, so there's no way to actually increase. This isn't like a window I can actually increase the size on. I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about that. But anyway, so he basically said, I said, yep, I hear you living large in Jamaica. And then I put the little laughing emoji and the little fire emoji and whatever. And this is one of those ones that I use all the time. And so he came back in with a bunch of laughing emojis. And he said, yo, fucker, you're a fucker, And so I just laughed at that. And I said, how do you spell your IG name? And he gave it to me because I wanted to look him up on Instagram. Because, yeah, man, I heard he was living large and whatever on Instagram. And then something here I posted about him living large. Oh, yeah. Now I remember this. Oh, yes. So he was all over. Remember this? Somebody had sent this. And this was him with some woman in Jamaica. Yep. Living the Don Juan life. One woman with some big boobs hanging out. And that was him. So he certainly enjoyed living his life. And he wanted to obviously be a free man. And I think that in the end, based on what I'm hearing, probably his demise ended up being a woman. I mean, it is so incredibly ironic. But everyone seems to think that this woman that he was in the vehicle with, he was in a Honda Fit apparently at the time of his demise, actually set him up in some way, shape, or form. So listen to what the Jamaican news has to say about him, and then we can wrap up this segment. So the official news. So, in Jamaica, just like here in Cayman, you've got the official proper news. They're going to put on a shirt and tie, and they're going to tell you only what the police are saying. Then you've got the non-official news, kind of a hybrid. CMR is a bit of a hybrid. Sometimes we're prim and proper, and then other times we just tell you how it is, street style. That news, there's quite a few of them that have been monitoring about him, and they all seem to have two primary lines of thinking. Number one, this was a setup with the woman, and the police need to look closely at this woman in the vehicle. And basically, he was in some sort of a relationship with her. He was seeing her. And the word on the street is his friends were telling him to leave this girl alone, that she's nothing but trouble. And they're like, leave this woman alone, she's nothing but trouble. She can get you, kill you. And he's like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm flashy. I'm wearing flashy clothes and jewelry, and I can drive around in my bimmer in Kingston and whatever. Everything is good. Well, now people connected to him are saying that he just wouldn't listen. He's like, he was a man that, just wouldn't listen. Somebody else has commented here that the woman in the car probably set him up, because that's a common tactic for hitmen in Jamaica. And unfortunately, because Ian had a weakness for sweetness, that probably would not have been very hard to do. But just about any woman could entice him. So here's the official news, and then we'll look at the unofficial one.
And a woman injured in Palmetto Pen, Clarendon last night. About 11:15, residents reported hearing explosions and called the police. The body of 37-year-old Ian Ellington, otherwise called Toto British, of Huntspen in Maypen, was found in the front passenger seat of a silver Honda Fit. There appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body and head. The woman who ran from the vehicle was shot 3 times in the leg and taken to hospital. Police say the deceased appeared to have been the intended target, as he reportedly had strong ties with the criminal underworld and was recently deported from the Cayman Islands for involvement in drug activities. They say he could have been trailed to Palmetto Pen and killed. Police also say the Honda motor car he was killed in was used in a robbery in Brownstown, St. Anne in January this year.
I don't know how well you guys could hear that. That didn't sound like it was the best audio in the world. But basically, they confirmed his death, and they were saying that the vehicle that he was in had been used in a robbery in January in St. Anne. And that the police are saying, that there was that he had some connections to the criminal underground in Jamaica. So I don't know, I don't really know how these things work. Entirely possible. But the more and more I hear, about the case, it really seems like the unofficial version might be, in this particular instance, a little bit closer to the truth. Now, here's what the unofficial version has to say.
Welcome to another J Crazy News Headlines. Now, people, I have some information from the streets as to why popular and successful businessman and promoter Ian Ellington, otherwise known as Toto British, was killed last night. Before I bring to you word from the streets, I look at this picture, people, of Shampy, the businessman who was killed yesterday near the JN parking lot in Montego Bay by gunmen as he came to the bank doing a transaction. Now, people, you see him sport 3 rifles. And to me, this picture, when I saw it, I said to myself, this kind of looks shaky. Why this man is seen with 3 rifles in his hand? A man who is a businessman. You understand, people? Now, did some checks, and it's alleged right now, unconfirmed, that he did have some other things by side to deal with, as in some shaky moves. And based on what I've heard, the killings that have happened in Lilliput, him involved in those killings, which is unconfirmed, right? So therefore, people, it's unconfirmed because we get it from the streets. So it's alleged at the moment, unconfirmed, as that he is involved, allegedly, or is the reason why tension is in Lilliput. Now, yesterday, him get killed. Brazen, wicked attack by gunmen. Them come for him and take him out. Me, this picture is looking very shaky. The man have basically 3 rifles in the picture, a whole. 2 in his hand and 1 on the ground. So far, if there is no update as to why he was killed, I will inform you shortly. We are back in Clarendon, where popular businessman and promoter Ian Ellington, otherwise called Toto British, was killed last night, gruesome, by a lone gunman. Them get 10 shots, and the female who was with in the car, she had a shot in her leg. Now people, based on alleged information, word from the street, not my words, but word from the street is that he was killed over PUSSY. Community PUSSY. Now, Ian Ellington is a known gallus. The man love woman to the bone. The man have woman in a reflux. If man one left, get one instantly. So people look upon this girl who is a known community PUSSY. Only that is that this girl was with a gangster and known bad man in Clarendon. And recently the bad man get taken out, killed. So Ian and the girl in a things. And people tell him, say, yo, listen, left that girl there alone because she's a community PUSSY. And her man did a bad man. Still have ties. You see me, I say so, but him never listen because him a girl, him not listen. So this is information him over the girl yard for 2 nights straight, which was allegedly Thursday night into last night. So basically, him there on a spot in the car with her, and when a lone gunman just walk up and start fire shot in the man. Now she escape and get shot in her leg. Both of them go to the hospital where he was dead and she's now treated. I said before, this girl is a known trouble. If you pick her up, they go in a trouble and your life will be taken away. Now, since the killing of her alleged gangster man, the friends of her gangster man feel say Ian are the one who actually call the hit on the gangster, which nothing no go so. So his killing last night is alleged based on a reprisal for the bad man get taken out because Ian are full round with the girl who was with the alleged. Before, these are not my words. These are words come from the streets as to why Ian Ellington, otherwise called Toto British, was murdered last night. She was a gruesome manner. 10 shots to the body, and the female gets a shot in her leg. This is J Crazy News once again. Until then, bless up.
Yeah, man. I'm here to say a black legend. I'm here represent.
All right, folks. So Andrea says these bloggers don't know anything, only assuming, to be honest. Well, I tell you what, they're assuming based on what they're hearing on the streets. And the streets talk. Listen, just like the streets talk in Cayman, and that's how Mall Road can be up in y'all business. The streets talk in Jamaica and the streets talk everywhere else. You just got to have, I suppose, the right connections to actually hear what's going on. So yes, the streets are talking, and the streets have said from early on that this is probably some sort of a setup with this woman. In fact, I had heard that one other person said the female that was with him in the car, I'm told they only recently met. And he was at a party earlier that night. This is how the streets talk, because even someone I know, and they're not really in that lifestyle, like that particular circle, but everybody's talking about this. This is actually pretty big news. They heard that he was at a party. I can't remember what the name of the party is. Jamaicans love to have these parties. It's like White Night Friday, and it's an annual event, and you pay hundreds of dollars to go, and you got champagne and drinks, and you get to live this fabulous lifestyle, apparently. So my friend had said to me, "Oh, I've actually been to that event before because it's like an annual event." And he said, "I've been to that event before, and I understand that he was there." What do you call it when they start fanning out the money? I don't even know. Y'all got to help me with some ghetto fabulous words here today. I don't know. It's called something. Something my friend said to me, and I was like, what is that?" And then he explained it. It's the, when you do this, you can, and he was doing that with CI dollars. So a lot of people feel like there's only probably three possibilities, right? His lifestyle of just being, over the top made people jealous of him. I think that's probably the least likely of the three. People don't normally just shoot you just because they're jealous. They might be jealous, but more importantly, they want to rob you of the vehicle, the money, something. And this was not a robbery. This was a clear hit. The second one is criminal element. Was he tied into some sort of criminal activity? The official news, what was that, JNN or whatever, said that the police are saying that they believe he had some ties to the criminal underground. Wouldn't be unheard of in Jamaica. Let's just be honest. And, that vehicle that he was in, which I'm assuming he owned, was actually involved in a robbery just last month in St. Anne. So that is a money pull up. Yes, Miller. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Now I know a new phrase. So money pull up. There we go. I don't think in the States they call it that though. That must be a Jamaican term for sure. In the US, it would be something else. Make it rain or something, But anyway, yes, money pull up. There you go. Barbara says flossing. Yeah, he was really into that lifestyle. And unfortunately, you can come, you make a very good point here, young lady. You can come and, have that kind of lifestyle in Cayman, and people are less inclined to bother you. But when you go to certain other jurisdictions, Jamaica, Honduras or whatever, you need to be low key. You don't need to be flossing nothing but your teeth. And even then, you better be careful how you floss your teeth, child. Because if your teeth too friggin' white and look too pretty, they're gonna be like, "I'm gonna knock some of your teeth out." So seriously, you gotta be careful with your movements, because somebody think you have money. And you know what? Sometimes I gotta tell you guys something that's really funny. Sometimes, if you've lived in Cayman for a minute, now he's been here, I think, since 2007. So he's been here for a while. I'm assuming he was back and forth and whatever, but you don't recognize when you travel to another country, some of the stuff that you're doing. I'll give you an example. I'm trying to remember which trip this was that I went to Jamaica. I think it's the first trip that I met my future in-laws, because we weren't married at the time. And I met my brother-in-laws. My mother-in-law only had boys, so she has 4 boys. And so one of my brother-in-laws, he said to me, he said, "My girl, you have your phone in your back pocket. Take your phone out of your back pocket because you're asking for trouble." Because I was at the 9 night of his grandmother who had passed away, and I was taking pictures and whatever. So I just stuck my phone in my back pocket. I'm like, what's the big deal? Giving me some little extra in the rear end. I'm thinking, whatever, not a big deal. He's like, "No, my girl, take that out of your back pocket because you're asking for somebody to just swipe your phone." I was like, what? At a 9/9 event with family here, I must be worried about the phone in my back pocket? And they were like, yeah. He said, don't do that. I was like, damn. So you always feel like you have to be on hyper alert. You have to really, really be cautious. And so I think that even in Jamaica, you return and maybe you forget just how cautious you need to be. You can't be flossing. And listen, Ian, all you have to do is look at the man pictures and you can see that he lived a very flossful life, if that's such a thing, right? He just loved, the photo shoots and, just the overall lifestyle was one that he really seemed to enjoy living his best life. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it may have been his demise. Now, the other theory that's kind of running parallel is that, in fact, he was in some sort of tryst with this young lady. So you heard that last blogger there who did a video saying that he was with a girl who was known to be community PUSS, and you fill in the blank. Now, I have never heard of such a thing before. I didn't know it was available community-wide. This is news to me, actually. So I guess maybe I shouldn't really be all that surprised. They share it like they share everything else, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, I'm told that this was community stuff that was shared. What a mess, child. So apparently he was talking to this girl, and she's said to have been the community goods, as it were. Anyway, apparently when you deal with community puss, you better be careful because it might get you in a lot of trouble. So, yeah. So let me just read what somebody else said about the community puss. So apparently they were saying that, hold on, that apparently he was with this girl who he had recently met. Another man that she was with also died 3 months ago, and it's being speculated that Ian was killed by another man that she was with as well. The person said they were told that his friends warned him in Jamaica about her, but as usual, he didn't listen to anybody because he was the consummate Gullis. What the heck is he again? Yes, Gullis, whatever. So yes, he, was into this girl, I guess. And apparently the community puss can be quite dangerous when it's being shared around amongst the wrong people. And so, when you see a girl, like a bit of a black widow, everybody that's hanging out with her is getting killed, maybe you do back off a little bit. So this was his wife, Rhonda, celebrating. He shared this memory in 2020 of the two of them when they got married. And, it's really, really sad, really. I mean, he's left several children behind. And there's his wife, Rhonda. And he was saying when they got married that obviously she was his everything. Clearly not, because he couldn't keep it in his pants for just her. So sad situation. Rest in peace, Ian. I don't know really what else to say about the situation. Let's read some of your comments. Sandy is having a good laugh. This one says they go back road. Yes, my dear, me keep hearing about this back road business, What a mess. Celine says a Kingston alone murder a thief there all over Jamaica. Them there. If you don't have anything to say, shut up. If you don't have anything to say, shut up. I think we got plenty to say, but I don't know. Loose goods, lose life. And it is interesting that she wasn't killed. I mean, when a vehicle gets at least 13 shots and none of them are fatal to her and they're all aimed at him, you do kind of get the sense that the shots that she got in her leg were warning shots. Nobody touched her anywhere else that could have been fatal. So yeah, a lot of people are like, police probably need to start the investigation by talking to her. So Emma says, Andrew, it happens all the time. I know many Jamaicans that work overseas in fear going back to Jamaica because they fear someone will kill them out of jealousy. So don't talk about people don't kill you out of envy. Of course, people kill you out of envy. People in Cayman will kill you out of envy, much less. So we have a comment here that she had good poems, man. Pure man are dead over her, apparently. Let's talk good. He's used to give back to charity, says Sandy Rose. Jamaican Cayman, rest in peace. Listen, everyone has good and bad in them. No one is saying that he didn't do good things, but obviously, he lived a lifestyle that attracted probably the wrong kind of people. So the society lost one of the biggest promoters. This comment says he could put on a show and some promoting. And I think he was known for definitely, I think he had the personality for it. When you have that kind of personality, you tend to be able to attract artists and, of that particular genre, of the dance hall genre, I guess. Marshall says he wouldn't have been set up if he left people, women alone. In Cayman, he could run around to as many as he wanted to, but wouldn't work in Jamaica. They will take you out. Well, let's be very frank here as well, Marshall. Even in Cayman, some people take you out for women too. More people probably died for women than in probably world wars over the years. So it is unfortunate, but sometimes it's better off to live a low-key and happy life with one woman and one man. Because you start messing around with other people, woman and man and thing, and you never know. The ugly truth says it would seem that the biggest problem Cayman faces isn't the criminals that we import, but rather the idiots here who seem to be addicted to that type of classless, uneducated element. Well, somebody's preaching this morning. Zambula says, trust me, he's talking with sense. If you know Toto, you'd see that the blogger is making sense. So I think the truth of the matter is any of those would have been possible scenarios. We'll see if the police are able to solve it. I don't know how many murders actually solve in Jamaica. Do they have a high rate of solving anything? Andrea says, Celine, don't come for me. I said what I said, and if you don't like it, get your pocket picker down. What? I said you more likely forget. Oh, I was like, what I said is you're more likely forget your pocket pick a town. Okay. Doorknob, she is. Devil Grim Reaper, says Charles. Yeah, what a hot mess. It is really sad. And like I said, the saddest thing is he does actually leave children behind. And I think that, again, as Shaji says here, that, if you didn't have to be one of the women involved in his tryst and mix-up situation, you found him to be a cool guy. Everybody's like, yeah, man, he was a cool guy. He was an all right guy. He liked to have a good time and that sort of thing. Rest in peace. That's all I can tell you. It's unfortunate he does leave a daughter and a son, which, now are going to be probably raised by single mothers. I mean, I don't think he was with either of those women, but you know what I mean? At least they could still see him when they wanted to. And now they're going to be growing up without the benefit of a father, which is very, very sad. If you know how that impacts young girls in particular, you'd be shocked. Before we move on to the next situation, can I just tell you that I got mad respect for Amazon? Amazon is amazing. Okay. So I discovered this morning, I've got a friend who is coming back to Cayman from the US. And so they are, I ordered a few things and they are going to, they're going to bring those items for me. But listen to what Amazon does now. Amazon is so amazing. First of all, I got a notification over the weekend from Amazon that they're going to be increasing their fee. I said, all right, Amazon, it's going to be $139 for the year or whatever. To be honest, I'm not really mad about it because I feel like the service that I get from Amazon is legit on point, right? I seldom have any issues with them. If I purchase something and it doesn't work, they don't quibble with me about returning it once it's in that window of time. And so, $139 a year for Amazon Prime, I get expedited delivery and whatever. I'm all about it. I'm all for it, especially during these COVID times when I'm really trying not to travel if I can help it. Now, check this out. So this morning I looked at something. Now, Amazon is getting very, very precise. So it says those items were literally just delivered. Your package was left near the front door or porch is what it says. So these packages, they didn't get anybody to sign for, but the next one says arriving today from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So they're getting more precise with the window of time that they're delivering goods. And do you know that I could actually see the map? I'm going to show you guys a little sample here. Look at this. I could actually see the map of where this item is and where it's going. So this is amazing, right? But this is the map of the item and where it is like where it was in real time and it was moving. So this was a real time map. This was not a like delayed by 5 minutes. It was like 4 blocks away, 3 blocks away. And it was literally being updated in real time. So this is pretty cool. Yeah. So folks, Amazon has got something going on that's quite unique and quite different. Believe me, that's amazing to be able to do. Not even FedEx does that. I mean, you FedEx package, they'll give you an alert of when it's delivered or whatever, but they're not showing you a real-time map of where your package is at any given time. And then I love how Amazon takes a photo of the package once they've left it like at a door or whatever, and they're like, okay, there's your package. And you can message a person, go grab it right now before somebody tries to steal the package. Depending on what neighborhood you live in, you know, that's a very real thing. Yeah. So anyway, big shout out to Amazon. Don't mean to digress in the conversation, but I was just looking at it as I was talking about poor Ian, and I thought, wow, this is amazing technology. Okay. Let's move on. So the other thing that was trending this weekend, so we had a couple epic car accidents. We had a motorbike last night that hit a vehicle, and the motorbike rider jumped off after hitting a vehicle. He jumped off and basically kept running. I thought, who does that, by the way? So it must be that either he doesn't have insurance, maybe the bike isn't his. You don't run in a situation like this unless something is wrong with your ability to properly be licensed on the road. So here he is. He hit this was Linford Pearson Highway last night. He hit a moving vehicle, and then he jumps up and takes off running, leaves the bike and everything behind. I thought to myself, what a hot mess. Wow. That's kind of unusual and different as accidents go. Yeah. So he wasn't the only crazy driver over the weekend, however. Did you guys see this one that occurred on, where was this? This one was on West Bay Road. Check this one out.
Binangga yung ano. Oh shit. Fatal. May isa pa yata ang kabanggaan dito. Ginamitan ng cutter, ayan no. Tao ko ba yun? Papasok na yun dyan. Kasya ba ako? Kasya. Kasya. Ginagamitan nila ng cutter eh, no? Jeep? Oo.
Wow, what a hot mess. No, sir. So that one landed on its side, which is quite interesting. Man, how do y'all have so many accidents on Cayman roads? Like, honestly, I just don't know how it happens. But it happens, apparently, every single weekend, at least every single day, somebody mashing up their cars. So that was one on Saturday morning, about 12:30, I'm told. That one is definitely a write-off. Do you wonder how the accidents impact insurance for all the rest of us? Whoa, what a hot mess. Louis tells us that Amazon packs a package every 7 seconds? Yeah, I would believe it, man. They're like amazing. Jake says that that's old. I've never seen it before, to be honest. So I don't know. I've never seen that before, so that's pretty cool. Maybe it only happens for packages that they deliver, because the interesting thing about Amazon is they actually have their own delivery service. So they're kind of like their own, UPS or FedEx or whatever. They actually have Amazon trucks and stuff like that. So they're pretty cool. Emma says she got a box that was empty and she had to prove, listen, I'm the type of person, right? When I call Amazon, I'm like, yo, this is what the deal is. A lot of times I just do Amazon chat. I don't even call them. But they know, once they look me up and they look at my account, they know that I'm not the one. I am not the customer that you want to be quibbling over something, because I spend a lot of money with Amazon, to be quite frank. I mean, over the years, I'd probably hate to tally up what I have spent with them, but I order stuff all the time from Amazon, personal and business and everything. And so, to my husband's dismay, I'm probably like an excellent customer for Amazon, right? So they always, when you call them, they look up your account. They're like, oh, well, thank you for being a Prime member. They're probably like, thank you for being a Super Prime member and always spending your money with us. So I don't find that they give me any hassle when it comes to returning stuff. Occasionally, years gone by, there's been like one or two things that I've had a bit of an issue with. Oh my God. Once there was a camera that I was trying to order that was like taking a while. And I actually missed the deadline from where I was to where it was supposed to get to me. And then, I was not very pleased with that. But, these things happen. You got to take it in stride. The world of shipping and whatever. But normally when I have to return something, they're just like, no problem. And thank you for being a Prime member, because they can see I'm a Prime member that spends my money and I don't mind spending money. But don't be getting all up in arms about it when I got to return something, because I'm not a person returning stuff all the time. Now, Emma, I know Louis says it was probably a mistake. Well, I can tell you that there have been a number of scams that have been highlighted where Amazon workers were in on it, where they were defrauding Amazon and they were setting up people's packages to be stolen and all kind of stuff. So who knows if it was a mistake or not, but I mean, Amazon is going to have to trust you that you weren't lying about it, although some customers probably would lie. It's always, they have a certain amount of loss built into, they have to understand that there's shrinkage and there's dishonest people that they have to deal with and that sort of thing. Sometimes dishonest people are right in their ranks. So it's the truck drivers, it's the delivery people, it's other people in the chain of the entire Amazon system. There was just one the other day I was telling you guys about out of India, that he was living in California and he was arrested for working with people in India to help defraud the Amazon system. So you just never know. So Amazon double charging. I've never had that before, actually. Not at all. But anyway, it is what it is. Steven says, I swear that the majority of accidents are caused by people trying to claim on insurance. Well, the insurance companies have said, we talked about a lawsuit some months back where that was the allegation. I need to follow up on that lawsuit, by the way, to see what that is. But the insurance companies have said it happens. Now look at this one. So apparently this vehicle, somebody informed me, used to be black and it was recently painted. And this is someone who I guess likes their fast cars and whatever. This is I think it's a BMW. Yes, it's a BMW. I don't know what model. Don't ask me those types of questions. But this is someone who recently repainted this vehicle, and they're actually trying to sell the vehicle, which is quite interesting. To Stephen's point, sometimes you do wonder if this is a little bit of a setup situation. Maybe it's not getting sold fast enough and the person needs money. And I'm not saying that that's what happened in this case, folks. I'm saying it's not been unheard of before that people would resort to these types of things. So here we go. Here's a photo of the vehicle beforehand, before it was painted that green color, which is such an interesting color. What does it say in the window? Pink. Does it say pink something? I don't know what that says. But anyway, there it is, folks. And then it was repainted this color. Oops. Hold on. Wow. Nice rims on that car, and the car is now totaled. So some insurance companies got to pay out that money. And the thing is, I'm telling y'all, depending on who your insurer is, these insurance companies are now getting wise to people who are looking to take advantage of the system. A lot of people did this Jernivin. They're like, oh yeah, write off my car. And then they turn around and fix the car and kept driving it. Or they turned around and sold it to somebody else. Yeah. So who knows, right? What a mess. So, folks, the insurance companies will be looking into these types of things. They're going as far now, and I can't say that I blame them. They're going as far as checking CCTV footage to make sure that what you say happened actually happened. This looks like it was a one vehicular accident. So maybe this person lost control of the car as they were coming around that roundabout. Y'all need to slow down on roundabouts, y'all. And, insurance companies are looking at as much evidence as possible. They have software. I told y'all this before. They have software now that is looking at people who actually get in motor vehicular accidents, and they're looking for patterns of behavior, because apparently there are certain red flags that will let an insurance company know if you have likely, not 100%, but if you have likely committed fraud, and then they send their investigators to have a look. Wow. Y'all see where it's going? Technology is going to be used to trip you up. Very, very interesting indeed. Y'all better be careful out there, scammers. I'm telling you, they will catch you. It's only a matter of time. You can do, what's the saying? You can do what you want to do, but not as long as you want to. So in other words, there comes a point in time when you will get caught one way or the other. Hot mess. Anyway, don't do it. That's the best advice I could give you. If you're thinking of defrauding someone, my advice would be to rethink it, because it's just not a good idea. It's as simple as that. Okay, speaking of defrauding people, let's talk about our Cuban friend. His name is Juan Carbo. Ay, Señor Juan, ¿cómo estás? Let's talk about Juan Carbo. So there's Señor Juan Carbo. So Señor Juan came on the radar last night after he attempted to go to Cuba. And he had some money on him. And security stopped him with over $10,000 in cold hard cash US, and then additional money in euros. Now, I saw y'all cribbling on Facebook. Oh, child, y'all get so up in your feelings. First of all, y'all were talking about, oh, Sandry doesn't like us. I was like, Lord have mercy. Y'all have got to be kidding me. Everybody, when you report on them, the first thing that they want to say is you don't like us. That is like the easiest, I guess, common denominator. Like, I don't know. Right? Oh, she doesn't like us. That's why she's reporting a story. Consider this instead, that it has nothing to do with whether I like you, whether I know you or not. It more has to do with the fact that things are actually newsworthy, whether you like it or not. Imagine that. Newsworthy because customs doesn't pull people down every day. And when they do, it's normally for a very interesting reason. And so we're in the news business. And we report these things. Folks, it doesn't have anything to do with me liking people or not liking people. In fact, if you were to listen to people out there, they're so ridiculous, right? The truth is, I must not like anybody. Because I don't like Jamaicans. I don't like Cubans. I don't like Caymanians, because most of the people we actually report on are Caymanians, believe it or not. I must not like Filipinos, because they've been reported on before. I must not like Canadians. I must not like Americans. I don't like Cayman Prep. I don't like CIS. I don't like government schools, including John Gray, CHSS, Red Bay Primary, because we've reported on them. That was not a good story, but the principal. Who else have I reported on categories of people? White people, black people, yellow people, bleaching people. Speaking of bleaching people, am I the only person who noticed in that video of TVJ News or whoever that was, the official news, they showed a video of like inside the car and the glass and whatever. Anybody notice the cake soap, the blue soap? Did y'all notice that? Or was it just me? I was like, why is there blue soap? That's the soap that my helper uses to like, apparently it's really good with like whites and stuff, right? I don't know what's in that soap, but that soap works. You got a little darkness in the collar, boy, you put some of that blue soap on it and it's gone. Am I the only person who noticed that was a bar of that was in the front seat? I was like, what going on here? I guess it was bleaching time or whatever. But anyway, yes, honey child. Somebody else I think said they noticed it as well. They say, yeah, these people. Oh God. A Caymanian from West Bay. Here, you know. Caymanian from West Bay with Honduran connections say, yeah, you don't like me. Woo! I must be. Oh, yes. And I don't like Alden. I don't like John. I don't like Chris Saunders, because I've talked about Chris before in the show. I mean, it's just like, I must not like anybody. I don't like my own sisters, my nephews and nieces, because they've been in the news too. Who else don't I like? I just don't like anybody if you listen to this rhetoric. The truth of the matter is, yes, I don't like PPM. I don't like, here's the real deal. I don't have business with, I don't have to like you. So maybe some of y'all I don't actually like. And if I didn't, I would tell you to your face, right? There's a degree of honesty that's needed in this world. So if I don't like you, that doesn't have anything to do with it. The truth of the matter is, we cover news, and the news spectrum runs the gamut. You don't get to tell me, this is like the lawyer lady. Apparently I don't like lawyers either. You don't get to tell me what makes news and what doesn't make news. That's not how this works. Okay. So the truth is, I decide what's news. And it depends. Some of the stories I'm not even writing, and y'all be up in arms about it. So things are newsworthy for different things. This person says, Christ, well, who the hell you like? I don't like nobody. This is the point, folks. If you listen to people, you would believe that I don't like anybody, I guess. Listen, I know business with that. That has nothing to do with it. If you get pulled down in the airport for carrying large sums of money, of course, people are going to be like, what is this really all about? And then they're going to start contacting CMR and they're going to tell me what it's about. Oh, Sandy, this man got all kind of money on him and this and that. And, this is the story and blah, blah, blah. Now, listen, sources at Cayman Airways have said that the flight was not delayed because of him. That in fact, it was actually because of in transit passengers, when they come in, they have to be cleared, and then they're the plane has to be quickly cleaned, and then they're kind of put back in the queue. Like they have to go through a very quick turnaround process. And so my Cayman Airways sources said, Sandy, this is the reason. Has my mouse just stopped working? I better try and charge it. They said, this is the reason why the flight was actually delayed. I don't don't know nothing about all of that. All I know is the flight was delayed by 24 minutes and it had a knock-on effect on the return flight from Cuba. And I also know that this man was detained by CBC and questioned about this bag of money that he had. What I also know is this man won Carbo Rivers, was granted Cayman status way back in the 90s. So he has been here for a really long time, actually, by some kind of special compensation. The governor or something, or cabinet gave it to him. I don't know why and what application he made. It was not asylum, as someone initially had reported. So I want to make sure we get all the facts here. Because I thought if he's been granted asylum, he shouldn't be going back and forth to Cuba as frequently as he does. Turns out it was not asylum at all. He was granted some special thing by cabinet, right? So he'll have status forever, I guess. And so the dude travels a lot. In fact, numerous people, CBC officers and others, have noticed the frequency with which he travels back and forth to Cuba. It might even be weekly or more. He is a platinum member at Cayman Airways. Now, let me say one thing. Emma says, I like Charles Whitaker. My tweet him. Yeah, his poor mummy. Damien says, you're non-biased and open. Thank you, Damien. Iva said, must be nice to these people. Well, I'm an equal opportunity, I'm a call you out kind of person. To me, it's not even about being nice. And that's where I don't want you guys to take offense to it. It's not about being nice. I'm just doing my job. We talk about issues in this community, and I would be lying if I did not tell you that I have concerns about what we tolerate and what we put up with in this community. So here's a guy who travels frequently back and forth to Cuba, right? And apparently he's in the business of being a Cuban higgler. That's how it was described to me. And I think that that's quite an appropriate description for what he does. So he's in a business of carrying stuff back and forth to people. Now, I get it. Cuba is a communist country. And I'm sorry for you if you were born in Cuba and you're not happy about that. Because we don't get to choose where we were born. It's just luck of the draw. Like, you know, some of us get good parents, some of us get shitty parents, and we don't really get to choose. Now, when you become an adult, you try to make some decisions. It's at that point in your life that you're able to make some decisions with your life. So some people, I get it, want to move abroad. Listen, I have lived in another man's country. I am probably as sympathetic as you're going to get with someone who can actually understand the context of living in another man's country, because I have been there and I know what it feels like to not necessarily want to go back home. And, you know, sometimes I suspect that you will do anything to stay where you are. What year are we in? 2022, February. So I understand the struggle, folks. I'm not here pretending that I don't get it and that I don't understand that there is a better quality of life. And, you know, everything always looks greener on the other side of the fence. And sometimes it is greener. During COVID, it has become obvious for a lot of people that Cuba is just the pits. You know, it is what it is, folks. Economically, the Cuban people are hurting. And of course, I feel sorry for them. Do I believe that most of them are political asylum or refugees, political refugees? No, I think most of them are economic refugees. And so I can even understand how being an economic refugee, you're just trying to improve the quality of your life. That's why migration happens the world over. And in fact, that is why the Cayman Islands is a very attractive jurisdiction to a lot of people. I get it. I completely understand. Right? And so my understanding it doesn't mean that I have to agree with it, that I don't see the problems that unfeathered migration has on countries. So we can't just have an open border policy. We can't be like, oh, come one and come all, because we'll feel sorry for you because of your economic situation. The pie here in Cayman is very small. And if we want to protect the quality of life that we enjoy, right, there has to be some degree of controls. You know how many phone calls I received over the weekend? A Jamaican lady who's, I guess, Caymanian, I don't know how she got it, said to me, Sandy, I need you to talk because your only voice, your only hope. I need you to talk about the fact that I work in tourism and I can't get a job. We as Caymanian, she said. And I'm like, wow. I wanted to say to her, how long have you been a Caymanian? Because your experience has been shared collectively by Caymanians for a really, really long time. You're now experiencing it. People claiming they're advertising, they put out jobs and they don't have jobs. I had a Jamaican fellow this weekend messaging me on WhatsApp on Saturday to say, oh, how can I come to the Cayman Islands? I want to come to the Cayman Islands. I get them all the time. And I'm just like, it doesn't quite work that way. Like, you have to have someone here who's hiring. By yesterday, the man could message me and tell me that somebody got to take out his work permit. And I'm like, that was quick. You found a job that quickly? Does the person even have a job for you? And this is the baloney that is happening in this country. People create jobs. They don't even have jobs, but they will take out work permits for people, and immigration works. Y'all need to get your ish together, because clearly it is too easy to get a work permit in the Cayman Islands. And so people are taking advantage of that left, right, and center. They're taking advantage of marriages of convenience left, right, and center. So there's a lot that is happening on this little rock. How many square miles they claim we are? 29 square miles or whatever. But there sure is a lot of shenanigans going on here that's absolutely ridiculous. So here you have a Cuban guy who's a money mule, taking money and goods back and forth. Now, I had someone message me. She's actually a customer of mine. She said, oh my God, I feel so sorry for him because I gave him stuff to take from my family too. I want y'all to think about this. I get it. You have people in Cuba. You're trying to help them. A lot of people here. Listen, I have Cuban relatives, so y'all don't need to come at me talking about I don't like Cubans. We have family that lives in Havana. We have Cuban relatives, right? And I was talking to a relative last night. They're like, Sandy, I used to go to another woman and send money. Was I wrong? And I said, yeah, you were wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you were wrong. One of the reasons why there's certain controls in place, right? Now, let's set aside the fact that Cuba is a communist country, and we know that there's an embargo and there are countries trying to put pressure on the official Cuban government. And by extension, that puts pressure on the poor, innocent people, just the average Joe Schmo in Cuba trying to make a living. And they're like, listen, I don't have anything to do with politics. Just leave me alone. I'm trying to make more than $150 a month, US. I would like to be able to, buy some milk and cheese without the Cuban government having to ration it and give me something. But there are measures in place around the world, especially when it comes to transportation of goods and money, for a reason. Who is to say? I don't know Juan Carbo Rivers from The Man in the Moon, but who's to say part of that $10,000+ that he had on him? Yes, Maria is sending him money to give to little Aunt Ava in Havana. Jose is giving him money to give to cousin Marta in what's another part of Cuba? I don't know. Where's that in the country? Oh gosh, I've been there so many times. I should know this. Isla Pines or wherever, right? Okay, those are legitimate people, families sending money to. They're not using the right sources to send it. But who's to say that mixed into that money isn't illegal money? Okay, so he's laundering money. I want you to think about this for a second. And this is why there are rules in place. I'm not saying that this is what Juan Carbo is doing. I'm saying that the rules are in place to prevent this sort of thing from happening. So say you got the little drug kingpin wannabe fella there from West Bay. We'll pick West Bay randomly. The West Bears, don't get started with me now, Oh, Sandy don't like West Bears either. He's a Rivers, so this guy actually lives in West Bay and he's a Rivers. So say he got some connections to the Rivers, right? And they say, yeah, send this little $5,000 to Don Marco de Drogas in Havana. And he's a big drug kingpin or whatever. Or he's into sex trafficking or God knows what. You see how easy it is to get mixed up in something and y'all don't even know what's going on? So he could be commingling those funds with illegal stuff and then supposedly the legal way of sending money and stuff as well. There is a reason why when you take an anti-money laundering course, just stick with me for a second here because I've done this and I was a compliance manager, why there's certain things that you look for. These people in every single country, in every single jurisdiction, there's unofficial ways of sending money across the world. And a lot of money is transported in this way. The criminal enterprise uses these avenues because they are not being scrutinized. So when you send money by Western Union or JN Money or whoever, these people have a legal obligation to require of you ID. They still want your fingerprint and DNA. They keep track of transactions, how money is coming, how money is going. And if they need to pull a report to provide it to the authorities on you, they do that. They also have systems in place that look for patterns of behavior to see whether or not you're laundering money. So some of y'all tontos talking about, if he had taken $9,999, he'd be all right. Well, I can tell you that that's one of the triggers that they actually look for when it comes to laundering money. Someone who stays right behind or right underneath the threshold of what is legal to send. And so they do frequent transactions. And they're always back and forth doing these transactions. Yes? And so that can be a red flag. Let me give you all an example of how you need to be careful with these types of things, huh? All right. Remember the woman in East End who stole the baby, the little boy? By the way, when is she coming out for sentencing? So she stole this little boy from these people in Jamaica under false pretense. She acquired the boy and then she was abusing him and whatever. One of the things that they were able to do in their investigation of her, because she was actually defrauding the system, she had 3 children over the years that were not hers, that she was then even getting NAU support for, and she was changing their names. According to NAU, she had 6 children over the years that she had gotten assistance for, and come to find out it's only 3 children. She was falsifying. She was like creating fake IDs for these children, falsifying, their information, who they were. And so when they started to trace, like, where these children come from and what is this all about? One of the things they had to do in their investigations was to go to the money services businesses to see what kind of transactions she was doing. And they saw where she was sending people in Jamaica money. And that's how they were able to put 2 and 2 together. Like, okay, you keep sending this woman money, and this woman is the grandmother of this child. What is this really all about? What kind of transaction is this? In the absence of that type of a paper trail, you could see how illegal activity could be going on right under our noses, and we wouldn't even know it. And this is why Cayman will always remain on the black list, the gray list, the red list, the do not do business with list, because our people, and I mean a lot of them are the ones that we have imported in, who can get on their high horses on social media and Facebook and be trying to take a little stab at me, and I don't really care. About, she don't like Cubans and she's this and that, blah, blah, blah. Y'all need to get your shit together. You don't care and you don't understand the dangers that you're actually putting this country in with these types of transactions. You're thinking, Juan Carbo is just helping people. The poor people in Cuba. This guy, Fidel, Christian, some fool, Cayman Braca. Yeah, go ahead. Tell him I don't like Cayman Bracas either. See if I give a damn. Some fool Cayman Braca talking about, yeah, that's right. You tell her, to some Cuban person who had something to say. I'm like, you are so stupid. You are destroying your own country, right? Your lack of just common sense, your sheer ignorance is destroying your own country, destroying your own economy. And when it becomes a shithole like some of these other countries where people are running from, I want to see what the likes of Fidel, Christian, then has to say about the situation. Because you are encouraging lawlessness, right? Here's Sherry. I don't know who the hell Sherry is, but Sherry Lamone Ade Joseph. Oh, but what you had to talk about the man, what is it? The fact that he I don't even know. What did she say? That I said he was declared, but then I jumped to him being taken care of by the government. You don't think it's relevant that a man who can travel, let me break it down for you, Sherry, right? You don't think it's relevant that a man who travels up and down every single week to Cuba, and by the way, just so we are very crystal clear here, this man not doing this for free. He's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. This is a business. He's making money. He is charging these poor Cuban people trying to send money back home. Now, the streets are talking, saying he's charging $9 out of every $100 or whatever. It's not for free. It is a job. Does he have a business license to do this? You better believe he doesn't, because it's actually illegal. What he's doing is illegal. And how do I know that? Because I remember a case. I'd have to try and find it now. But I remember a case where a Filipino national was charged with the same thing. They found big wads of cash in their house, and they were charged with transporting money. They call them mules, and they have other names. You know, if you're in India, they call them one thing, and Filipinos call them something else. But they were transporting money cross borders without declaring it, and in such a way. Let me see if I can find that story. Let me see if I can find that. And the person was in court and they were charged. So yes, it is illegal to do so. You're not supposed to do it. I'll see if I can find that case. There's been a few of them over the years that have been charged, right? You are supposed to, folks, do it a particular way where there is a paper trail. And like I said, there is good reason for that. So y'all trying to defend Juan Carlo, whatever the heck his name is, Juan Carbo. And quite frankly, you are demonstrating the fact that you do not care about the laws of this country or even international laws. It's one of the money laundering requirements of us here that we do not allow this type of behavior. These illegal money transfer systems. Let me see. I got to try and find that story. So y'all need to. Oh, banks warn, this is January 19th. Banks warn money mule scams are rising, on the rise. That was a headline that just came up here. Bankers urge public versus becoming money mules. I mean, it is big business. You know, people do it. Now, most people are trying to avoid the official methods of sending money for a very specific reason. Now, I don't know what it takes to send money to Cuba, to be honest. And I don't really know how it works. But somebody was just saying that money is sent, like jewelry is sent and stuff as well as all this other stuff. Someone says the money is sent to give persons that will be leaving Cuba as refugees so they can have cash to pay the coyotes to try to get into the U.S. So I'm sure that's possible. I'm sure that happens. No two ways about it. Someone else said they buy jewelry to take home and sell also. So he does send goods as well as money. He doesn't just take money. Apparently he's packed full of goods that he's taken for people. And some of it might be food stock and supplies and whatever. You know that Cayman Airways makes a lot of money off of the Cuban travelers. And that's one of the reasons, although Jamaica don't want them coming through their country anymore. You know, they have problems going through Miami sometimes. Cayman Airways loves that Cuba to Cayman connection because they always come at 4, 5, 6 people. They are the Spanish higlas of the region. Y'all want to talk about Jamaica as a higlas? That's probably a fair comment to make. But Cubans, and I'm not trying to be rude to no Cubans, I'm just telling you the facts. when they travel, they take a lot of stuff because they can't get stuff as easily in Cuba, or, it's, I don't know, being rationed. It's too expensive. They can't afford it, whatever. If they have family in Cayman, Miami, child, they got to load up and take stuff back home. I can't blame them. Load up all you want. When I go to Miami, I be loading up too. I be coming out Miami like a higgler. However, just like you have to declare your stuff, how much of that stuff he's actually declaring? I would like the Cuban government to start keeping an eye on him, going back and forth as well, to see all what he's declaring, which he's probably claiming as personal goods, that actually isn't personal goods at all. So Cayman Airways makes a lot of money off of that route. This isn't something I'm asking you, I'm telling you. Because the Cubans always have excess baggage, and now you're paying for every piece. And they find the money to pay for their excess baggage. So Cayman Airways is like, good. And you know what is also happening at Cayman Airways at some of the ticket staff? Now y'all gonna come at me. Oh, Lord have mercy. They gonna say now that I don't like Cayman Airways and I don't like Cayman Airways staff. Y'all want to hear the cold hard truth this morning? Take a sip of your tea before I tell you this. Remember back in the day when you'd be traveling to Miami and the Cayman Airways staff would get a little something under the table. I used to see it with my own 4 eyes. Right? The right person walks up to the counter and chat. When I first moved back to Cayman, I didn't realize what was going on. I was like, what the hell is this? How are you walking up to the counter before me and I've been standing here for 20 minutes? And they'd walk up and they'd just slide them a little piece of something. All balled up, child, like this. They would slide it to them. And you know what that was? That was some dinero, some money. Put that in your pocket. But you see I'm doing this with it, putting in the bubbles. Okay. Yeah, boy. That was money under the table. Sometimes they were doing it so they didn't have to pay excess baggage, or they wanted all their pieces to be prioritized, right? Because, Cayman Airways be like, okay, we're overloaded. These are the ones that got to go. These are priority packages. Everybody else, you get it in the next flight or whatever. Oh, no, if I give you a little $100 now and you putting that directly in your pocket, you're going to make sure that all my pieces go. Number of years ago, they really clamped down in Miami. Ask Jose and the people there at the Miami counter. Oh, they clamped down. And their clamping down in Miami meant a few people actually lost their jobs because that's what they were doing. They need to start clamping down on the Cuban route too. Because people like Juan Carbo still passing somebody a little couple dollars because he comes with 5, 6, 7 pieces and he wants them all to make sure they get on that plane to Cuba. Yeah. You see what I'm telling y'all, how this works now? And they will hold the plane for him. Don't leave. Juan Carbo is coming. Because he is a platinum flyer. Now, stick a pin. Who this was questioning about why we writing about the man's business about, he being supported by government. The reason we're writing about it, honey, is you tell me something. How can you be an NAU and talking about you not working for some medical reason, no less, but yet you can be up and down to Cuba a couple times a week with 5, 6 pieces of luggage and tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket that you're getting a cut out of, okay? And you're a platinum member? I thought about that for a second. How many miles is a platinum member? Now, when I was doing more retail, I would go to Miami frequently. Not even to me has ever seen platinum status. And I'd probably say maybe I was going to once a month, once every other month, depending on business. I wasn't no damn platinum member. That's a lot of air miles. And so I hear from Cayman Airways staff that this man is like the Don Juan of the Cuban route. He gets treated very, very, very well. And you don't think they're going to hold the plane for him? You sit there. And only this time that he get caught by security. Maybe they not got nothing else to do right now because the airlines are just starting to come back and, they're like checking people a little bit extra. And they're like, hold on, man, you got all this money in you that you haven't bothered to declare. Some here, he also pays the people at customs in Cuba because he travels so often. They get a little cut. So everybody getting a cut of the Juan Carbo situation. Caymanians, if there's one way to go to hell in a handbasket really quick, It is for you to become lawless. It's for you to become the Fidel Christians of the world, where you will sit down and agree with others that, oh, Sandy don't like us and she's trying to be mean to us, and she's racist. Oh, they use the term racist to describe me. Y'all a bunch of donkeys. You all are stupid. And I really mean this with all honesty. So somebody posted this, that Cuba is not a social utopia. Cuba is a dictatorship. Of course it is. They're showing a picture here of what Cubans get to eat. Have a look at this. The Cuban people, I saw the other day, where unfortunately some of them were put in jail for protesting. You don't even have a right to protest in Cuba. I'm not saying that Cuba is some wonderful country. So this is showing on the left what Cubans have to eat. A few pieces of egg, and I don't know if those are overwatered noodles. And they said that's lunch at the Cienfuegos Maternal Hospital in Cuba. Well, they don't want you staying in too long, that's for sure. And then on the right-hand side, that is the breakfast at the Parque Central Hotel in Cuba. Yep. Undoubtedly, a tourist is going to be living a better life than a non-tourist in Cuba. But you're also going to be paying for that, huh? When you have a baby in Cuba, isn't all that stuff still free? You think everything in life is free. I keep telling y'all there's no such thing as a free meal. Even in communist countries, socialist countries, they want you to believe that it's free. Yeah, honey child, that not free. So all these comments about lies. This man was taking his brother money. Hear this idiot now. This man was taking his brother money to buy a car in Cuba. Him and his brother have been on this island for over 25 years. All he did was take his saved money to buy a car. Listen, Lee Clark, you are an idiot. Okay? I don't know who you are. Works at Butterfield Bank. Lord Jesus, you work at Butterfield Bank. They need to make sure that you're getting money laundering training. Oh, Jehovah. Let me reply to him. I see you work at a local bank. I pray they are giving you adequate AML training, because that statement makes zero, I'm going to put all caps, sense. And it really does make 0 sense. He is up and down to Cuba all the time. Oh, he been saving for 5 million years to take $10,000 to Cuba to buy a car. That is a lie. What kind of car, by the way, he buying in Cuba for 10 grand and 800 euros? Y'all a bunch of fools. Lee, you actually believe that I would write a story like that and not know the business that the man is in? Not know that he is a platinum member? Can somebody from Cayman Airways tell me, as a platinum member, how many miles that is that you have to travel? My sources say the man is up and down a couple of times a week. Everybody knew it. So is he buying a new car every couple of times a week, you fool? No. Come on now, use a little bit of common sense. Y'all insult me with your foolishness. He been doing it for years. There's not no Johnny come lately. There's not no new business. Come on now, stop your foolishness. Sure. He's almost VIP at Cayman Airways because of how long he's been doing this. Y'all need to get some common sense. This is why Cayman only gets so far, because we so stupid, the foolishness that we are sitting here supporting. You have to wonder. Halstead, Rashawn, come on now. What is $10,000? Give the man the money. What is $10,000 to Cuban? You go ask them. Ask them what $10,000 is to somebody in Cuba. They make how much a month? Less than $200 US per month. And now that they don't even have tourists coming in, it's even worse. That's why they are taking a chance with their lives. That's why there's that boat out there right now that is missing for over 2 weeks. And those poor Cubans keep messaging me every day. Oh, Miss CMR, do you know what happened? What happened? What happened? I don't know what happened to your relatives. 10 of them left on a little inky-dinky boat and they still can't be found. And every week, like clockwork, those poor people messaging me saying, have we heard anything? Unfortunately, if they haven't been found yet, they're probably not going to end well. I feel sorry for these people. But these are the facts. What is $10,000? Well, Rashawn, I don't know about you. Maybe $10,000 is not no money to you. Cuba needs it really bad. That's fine. But you have to do it the right way. You can't skirt around the law because you feel like it. Because everybody has an excuse. This person says food and medicine to Cuban families. Great. But you have to do it the right way, folks. Y'all just love lawlessness. Honestly. So does it matter that he has this side hustle going on? And he's on NAU? Yes, it matters. It matters because there are too many Caymanians that be messaging me every day talking about how they can't get no money from NAU. Elderly Caymanians who've contributed to this country their entire lives. When a hardback man like Juan Carbo can sit down, tell me he got a medical issue and can't work. Oops, wrong picture. There we go. He can't work, but he can sure carry 5, 6, 10 bags to Cuba at one trip. He can work picking up luggage, though. Give this man a job at the airport. Then again, no. Let's not do that. Give this man a job. He can pick up bags. He can carry money. He's a mule back and forth to Cuba. He must be able to work. He look like he's good counting dollars. I was going to say give him a job in a bank, but maybe that's not a good idea either. But somebody give this man a job and let's start calling a spade a spade. He can work. Not do him. He should not be an NAU. Now, as a bit of an aside story, it is interesting that he's been convicted of theft. He's also a thief, convicted in a court of law for stealing a $16 2 tubes of mascara for some Cuban woman he was with. He was fined $300 by the court. Who steals $16 worth of mascara? And then he didn't show up to court. And you know what? Why this story is even more interesting? When he didn't show up to court, they issued a bench warrant for his arrest. And the judge said, why didn't you come? He said, oh, I'm back and forth to Cuba a lot. This is how long he'd been back and forth to Cuba a lot. He admitted, oh yeah, I'm always back and forth. And my mom had probably forgot to tell me that they had left a summons for me to come to court. I cannot sit here and allow you all to get in my head, and I don't care who you claim I don't like or who I'm prejudiced against, fine. Call me racist, call me prejudiced because I'm trying to stand up for the right thing. I'm trying to say that as Caymanians, right? We do like to look down on other people. Oh, this one from this country, that country is a shithole, that country is this, that country. We are headed in that direction, a one-way ticket to hell, really, really quickly, super fast. Super highway. Put it in gear and it's going like 200 miles per hour. And that is how quickly we're going down the wrong path. So forgive me if I'm like, you know what? We need to try and maintain some standards in this country of lawfulness, not lawlessness. We just want to import any and everything. It's disgusting. Honestly. We are so quick to lower our standards. And once someone speaks up and they say, no, this isn't right, all of a sudden, y'all up in your feelings. Oh, Sandy don't like this one. Sandy don't like that one. You know why you say foolishness like that? Because that's the easiest thing in your non-thinking brain. If you throw out the word, oh, she's racist. Well, nobody likes to be racist. Nobody likes to be called a racist. So, oh my God, I'm going to back down because you've called me a racist. No, I'm not. Because I know I'm not a racist, so I don't care what you call me. Right? It doesn't matter. The truth has to stand. And the truth is, folks, we are just accepting every Tom, Dick, Harry, Jose, and Juan that come here with all their shenanigans. And I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're from Jamaica, the United States of America. I don't care if they're from Timbuktu. We need to have some standards in this country. We need to put our foot down. Enough is enough. All right. That's all I got to say about Juan. I'm going to read your comments here in a second. I'm looking for a picture because while I'm talking about this, this one that we posted on Friday evening is also coming to mind. And I'm going to take this opportunity to address this one at the same time as well. About a Canadian. Now y'all going to talk, oh, she don't like Canadians next. Here we go. All right, honey child. Let me see your comments. So Cameron, let me see, where did we leave off? Cameron says no problem with the Rainbow crew, though. They're the only ones able to fly under CMR. Oh my God. Cameron is trying to say that because I am a supporter of and I am a supporter, I'm not telling y'all the truth, of the LGBT community, they're the only ones to fly under the radar. That's a lie, though. Because y'all know I've called some of them out very famously here on the program. I don't care who you are. I don't care what flag, whether it's a red flag or a rainbow flag. You have to do things right, and you have to do things to standards, folks. Poor Cameron up in his feelings now because he don't like gay people. You see, I really try not to tolerate hate against people, no matter who they are, right? Andrea says, not going to lie. Sandra, not biased at all. Everyone gets it. Doesn't matter who you are. Well, it's just a matter of when. Because y'all be going on with so much foolishness in this country that at some point, oh, sheesh, some piece is 9:15 already. We going into overtime here this morning. Get your second cup of coffee and your second cup of tea, and I gotta have me a little swish of water. Because we got to talk about that East End fiasco last night. Wow. Ay. So that workers have to pay them weekly. Yes, these are fraudsters. Will he lose the money, says Sabrina? I don't know. I mean, supposedly he claims that someone gave him the money and they're going to go into customs today and prove who gave him this money and the purpose that it was for. And they have to now show how $10,000 was withdrawn from a bank account. And if he can't show that, I mean, he lied to customs. And we know he's not going to be able to show that from the one person, you see? Customs, y'all need to clamp down because our reputation as a financial jurisdiction and otherwise, money laundering, we're already gray listed again. We gray list, blue list, red list, all kind of lists because we accept foolishness like this and we allow it to go under radar. Y'all need to stop it. Good morning, Darlene. $1,000 bonus in their salaries? No, honey child. That was a one-off payment. So that was a one-off ex gratia payment. Nobody not getting that on no regular basis. Y'all calm down now. That was not a monthly thing. So in order for you to become a platinum member with Cayman Airways, you have to fly 40,000 or more miles in a single calendar year. And that qualifies you for platinum membership on Cayman Airways. So 40,000 miles. What's the miles to Cuba? Round trip? Somebody look that one up for me. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Anyway, comment says hashtag savage Lee Clark, but the effing nerve that he getting NAU can't work but sending money to buy a car. WTF. He saved our money, Some of them POS should still be in Cuba. Now that's savage. Ay. What a hot mess. 272 miles. That can't be right. That's round trip to Cuba. That's how many miles you get with Cayman Airways. That's it. Wow, they're pretty close. Wow, that's nothing. So round trip to Cuba. No, man, Cuba's. Well, okay. So do they give you? No, their credit system is different, right? They have a thing with the destination miles that they give you. That one is if you want to buy miles. I need to see how they count the miles for the membership. Anyway, listen, 40,000 miles is a lot of miles, okay? If you wanted to buy 10,000 miles, that's like $500. Isn't it more than 10,000 miles to get to Miami? So members will be allowed a maximum. That's if you're trying to transfer, but I want to see how much the platinum mileage is. Anyway, it is a lot. That's all I can tell y'all. So Turtle Club rewards. Let me see if it tells you here. To get to 40,000, so gold members, platinum is the top of the line, so that's 40,000 miles. Oh yes, here we go. This is Cayman Airways now. So let me show you all this. So Ms. Darlene, I'll double check that, but I'm pretty confident in telling you that that was a one-off payment. That wasn't an ongoing payment. All right, so this is the mileage here. Havana, you'll get 6,000 miles economy one way, 12,000 unrestricted, but you don't accumulate. I think you accumulate the miles differently than when you go to use them. So this is when you redeeming them. So this is a redemption. I think what you earn. Oh yes, here we go. Havana, earned miles each way is 500 miles. So basically a round trip ticket from Cuba is going to be 1,000 miles back and forth. So you do the math to get up to over 40,000 miles. Wow, that's a lot of travel. That's all I'm telling you. To become a platinum member, that's a lot of traveling. So Juan Carbo, good luck to you. What a hot mess of a situation. Lilith says, well, I have to agree with this one, even me trying to fly straight when it comes to the law. Oh, to the law. My apologies. Don says, Miss Sandra equals fire. What a hot mess. Jonathan says, speaking of scams, what is this site, Things for Sale Cayman on Facebook, that I keep on seeing because I see some good deals and other things on it, but I've never used it. Does anyone in Cayman use that site? No, but I would say this, buyer beware. Anybody can throw up a Facebook group, a Facebook page, and you better be careful. Magdalene says, what the heck? Hope that NAU's taking note. Where is the due diligence? They're too busy doing the due diligence on some little old lady out of West Bay who's like 80 years old and can't pay her bills. They're doing her over in due diligence, but they're not doing due diligence in situations like this. They're not doing due diligence on the ghetto fabulous girl from Jamaica who can afford plastic surgery and can get on the airwaves and talk about her money is her money, and her husband must go and apply to NAU, and not him applying because she'd be the one in the line because they have Caymanian children. Those are people that need to be getting scrutinized, and they need to be doing, in anti-money laundering, there's enhanced due diligence, and you need to learn the signs of crooks, scammers, and thieves that they need to be doing some enhanced due diligence on. There are people who are abusing the system, just like with the tourism stipend, but then everybody gets caught in this very wide net, including the good people who just trying to make it. That's what they need to figure out. Hustling is everywhere, and that won't stop. And the reason for it is because poor people not being compensated enough to cover their day-to-day lives, and then people with money take advantage of people, blah, blah, blah. Charles, to be honest, I don't really, I don't really know. I think it's not just poor people that hustle. There's a lot of people of means who are also looking for more money and who are scamming people. It's like the pregnant woman in the U.S. Y'all heard this story. She was actually made Donkey of the Day over at the Breakfast Club for pretending that she was pregnant when she wasn't pregnant. Did y'all see that story? Because she just wanted more vacation time than she was entitled to, or maternity leave. Seriously? This is the kind of foolishness that's happening the world over. So it's not just poor people that are scamming. I don't know if y'all saw this, but scammers they run the gamut. They just run the gamut. Now, just as an aside, we have someone who sent me, someone has posted a young lady has posted on her Instagram that basically she wants to commit suicide. She says, "Good morning, family and friends. I want to put this up to say that I'm sorry to my mom and kids that I love, but I also want it to say that I hope one day you all forgive me for what I will do to myself. And I've been through hell my whole life, but I'm just tired of it now. Been feeling like my sweet boys will be happier without me. God forgive me for saying this. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore." She's a mother of, it looks like, 2. And apparently she is feeling suicidal, and she posted that on her Instagram. So I understand that the police are actually on scene now, trying to do a welfare check on this young lady. Folks, I'm going to talk about that here in a second, because I do want to talk about some stuff about suicide. All right. My apologies for going into overtime, but just hang in with me. 300 of you are still here. So yeah, this woman, she was made Donkey of the Day because she decided to defraud the system. My point is, even when people have good jobs, right? She's a Georgia state official. Even when people have good jobs, they are still going to defraud the system if they can get away with it. That's why you have checks and balances in place. And, why you just don't allow certain things to be swept under the rug. The rules should apply equally to everybody. It's when you start allowing people to play by different rules. So you're like, yeah, we're going to make rich people not have to pay their fair share of taxes. Then the poor people are the ones who get burdened more. We are going to allow poor people to take advantage just because they're poor. There has to be some equality in the way that it all works. We get that not everyone is born into this world with the same financial status that they begin with. And when you're born poor, you're almost destined to remain poor, because unfortunately, the things that you learn about money and money management and those types of things are all the wrong things. You ever notice when poor people get money, the first thing they want to do is go buy all the flashy stuff, all the jewelry and the cars and this and that? They're not thinking, oh, let me save for a rainy day. Let me invest in real estate. Let me build my portfolio. They're not thinking about all that. They want hair by the pound, makeup every weekend, designer outfits where they have to go to a tailor. I'm sitting in court listening to a Jamaican woman who cannot pay her rent, which, by the way, she in court. We should be hearing about her verdict this week. Oh yeah, I think not coming Friday. Now. I'll be there. Can't pay her rent, and he used number one client talking about how but Your Honor, I know the father because he's my tailor. He makes my suits for me when I go out on the weekend. I'm like, what the Ross am I hearing up in court, Folks, I have never in my life had a custom suit made for no event, not even my friggin' wedding, custom wedding dress. No, honey child, I was on a budget. I'm like, let's go to the budget rack. In fact, I'm going to tell y'all something. I did not even, my first marriage, I didn't even buy the wedding dress because in the US, you can do these rentals. I'm like, why am I going to buy a dress and pay thousands of dollars and wear it once? Why would I do that? To me, that's a waste of money. I'm like, thousands of dollars? That's the honeymoon right there. That's a trip. That's something else. Penny wise and pound foolish. That's a lot of us. But a custom outfit, a tailor? I don't know. I'm like, a tailor? How can she afford a tailor if she's living up an NAU front door? But you see, this is the foolishness that we as Caymanians, again, are sitting down supporting. Oh, yeah, she looked good, child. She going out every weekend, abandoning her children, because who's minding the children is what I always want to know. Living this ghetto fabulous life, and y'all up in people grill. Ooh, girl, you live your best life. Don't pay Sandy no mind. Sandy's jealous of you. That's what people keep telling her. I'm jealous of her. I'm like, Jesus Christ, y'all. Something wrong with y'all, you know? Some of y'all really not playing with a full deck. Oh, you're envious. You're jealous. What am I jealous of? Oh, yes. I forgot. Forgive me. I'm jealous that I've never had a personal tailor. Okay. I have to buy clothes off the rack. Oh, I have to go to TJ Maxx and shop. But you see, at least I got a roof over my head. I'm paying the bank. It's a mortgage, but not NAU front door. Anyway, let's just back off of that one. Lilith says Don won, and he getting NAU assistance, and then my poor people who were born and grew up here can't live good. With the help of our own NAU, they're donkeys. I can't even agree more to Ras. I finally agree with you. Never thought I would have. Oh, Lilith. If you listen to the show long enough, at some point, you're going to see the light and you're going to agree with something. Is it just me or is it warm up in here? Let me check now. Child, I'll be trying not to pay CUC, you know. So let me check the temperature. 80 degrees. No. Let me turn that down a little bit. Woo. Got pay CUC this morning. Because boy, it's gonna be a hot summer. Magdalene, NAU work and traveling so often, and is there looking? Yeah, they're not looking into the right ones. Unfortunately, yes. As of last week, the Cubans were still missing. I'm afraid to say. Yep, and a lot of elderly people, I'm telling you, are the ones who are hurting the most. And you know what is really sad? Chris Saunders gonna fix y'all though. He got your digits, because you know what happens a lot in Cayman? Y'all be sitting down waiting on these old people to die, right? A lot of old people in Cayman got land. And y'all sit there once they get in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. You're not taking care of them. You say, oh, NAU must take care of them. The government must take care of them. And they're sitting on a lot of property, sometimes into the millions of dollars. NAU, not NAU, but Saunders has a plan that can reverse all of that to catch some of y'all scammers. It's called reverse mortgages. Your old people can live well into their lives, to the end of their life, when they're sitting on land and property. If they're able to do a reverse mortgage on that property and borrow on it, they can live like kings and queens. But what is not going to happen is you're not going to neglect your old people and allow them to sit there in their own filth and wallowing and expecting the government to pay for everything, and the government must fix up their houses, and then you're just waiting for them to die so you can take the property free and clear. Now, a lot of that been going on too. Caymanians, y'all gotta do better. Miranda says, blame the government and immigration for all this mess. I agree with you up to a point. We all have to take accountability. So every single time I see someone like a Fidel Castro sit down agreeing with this foolishness, right? This whatlessness, right? He is whatless. And you can't blame government for his whatlessness. He must take accountability for his own whatlessness. So, you know what? Everybody got to take a look in the mirror at some point and say, how am I contributing to the situation? Am I taking out work permit for people when I don't have no jobs from, just to help people out? Whatless. We can't put everything on the government and immigration. They're trying to catch some of these things. And yes, they need a little shaping up. I agree. But at the same time, it's the individual people who are allowing it to happen that need to be held accountable. Little says, true. Do your thing, Miss Sandy. Frig them, defend us. The islands, the truth is the truth. And we love everyone, but keep y'all shit. Where y'all coming from? Point blank. Steven says, old idiot. Sandra says, don't even think of giving him a job. Deport him. Connect the dots and put a stop to this lawlessness. Thank you, Sandy. You're absolutely correct. The pigs are squealing. Lilette says they're scammers too, but they can vouch for him. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, it's just too much. Oh my goodness. Sandy, the news on Friday about the people in the restaurant stay. Oh yes, I'm getting to that. That coming up next, Miss Sue. 272, 276. What is 272 and 276? Times 2, that's one way. Oh, the mileage. All right, got it. Just catching up here on some comments. All right, Darlene says, check it right away. They're receiving a bonus in their salaries to paydays. No. I'm going to verify, but I'm pretty sure that happened. But I tell you what, I'm going to send it right now to the man who's going to be able to tell me. No, that was a one-off ex gratia payment or whatever they call it. That's the same Honduran lady that came on the live to talk about her job at the hotel and let her go. She was married to Braca and was talking about moving to the U.S. Which one this is? I'm confused by that comment. Oh, you mean the one who wants to commit suicide? Oh my God, but she's such a young girl. People are despondent. But I hope you know that suicide is not the way out. I mean, it is a way out, but I don't think it is the way out. Well, Mr. Amelia, we need to do more than just praying. We need to be holding ourselves accountable. Travel Cayman falls under, I think it's the health. I think it's Sabrina, I believe. So, and that B says getting an outfit made is a norm for Jamaica, as this is what you do in Jamaica, as a ready-made outfit costs more than getting one made. It don't cost. That's not the case in Cayman, though. I mean, I don't know what y'all pay. I honestly don't know because I've never had a ready-made outfit in my life. But you mean to tell me that you can go in the Cayman Islands, forget about Jamaica. They might have been doing that in Jamaica, but you come to Cayman. You're going to go to tailor to have a ready-made party outfit made, and that is cheaper than just buying something off the rack. As expensive as materials and labor is in Cayman, I would have to see that with my own two eyes. I don't know nothing about that. But like I said, I guess it depends on which rack you're buying it off of. You know? If you can only afford the discount rack, then you buy off the discount rack. So this thing with this young lady is circulating now. I understand the authorities are on site doing a welfare check. Hopefully she's okay. Emma, where were you? All right, so let's continue the conversation, folks. Let's talk about this next hot mess of a situation. So on Friday evening, somebody was out to dinner trying to enjoy themselves, Caymanian. And all of a sudden, they overheard a conversation that disturbed them so much that they decided to send this to me. Now, I love how y'all will question these good Caymanians. I'll omit the profane words for now. Y'all know what MF stands for. They said, I'm here in Steak Social trying to have a nice dinner. By the way, I've never been to this Steak Social place. I keep hearing about it. I guess you have to really enjoy steaks, but I'm going to check it out one day. I got to save up. How much money do I have to save up to go to Steak Social? How expensive is it? I got to save up some money and go soon, though. Oh, wait a minute. What? I'm trying to think. What Today, this is February. Ooh, anniversary coming up next month. Okay, I got a reason to go to Steak Social. I'm going to let my husband know. For our anniversary, honey, I'd like to try a new place called Steak Social. Yeah, ask me and Gigi and go have some steak. All right. Trying to have a nice dinner with my wife and this loudmouth bitch at a table next to us talking loud with another man bragging about she got a big tennis bracelet and celebrating because the guy, her son-in-law, just got a new job as director. The guy says that there was another Caymanian qualified for the job, but they gave the job to him instead of the Caymanian. They're celebrating and making a big joke about it. What a bunch of donkeys. The MF just said he got hired by the Cayman Islands government internal audit department. Can you imagine? I'm effing pissed. Gonna have to leave before I get in trouble. Canadian sounds like. And then I said to him, don't leave without taking a picture. Because, I put this up, y'all not going to believe it. Oh, these people wasn't at no Steak Social and this never happened. So I said, take a picture. I decided to blur out the photos. You could see the woman's face quite clearly. And the man, I think he kind of looked like he bald, though. Her son-in-law might need some Rogaine. But anyway, this is what you're looking at here, folks. So I was a bit surprised. Steak is $500. Girl, girl, I can buy the whole cow for that. What are you talking about? Carol says, was not impressed. I asked for medium rare, but got medium well done. Tough as boots. The Falls is better. Ooh, I love me Copper Falls. Well, now it's called The Falls. Drink selection sucks, but the food is really good. I don't know, because y'all know I love food. And I hate to waste my calories on something that I'm going to then regret. Y'all know how I love my food. So don't make me waste a calorie on a drink or a dessert. And I'm like, this is horrible. But I think I might check it out because I keep hearing people talking about this Steak Social. I want to at least say I've been there once. But they better bring me no tough steak, y'all, because I'm going to be like, listen. So this happened in the restaurant. And, this happens a lot more than people realize. You can be sitting down having a conversation and you don't realize how loud you're talking. People are listening to your conversation. I've sat at a restaurant before, just minding my own business or trying to mind my own business. And I hear people talking about certain things. I'm like, why would they be talking about that in a restaurant? They be giving away all the sauce. And sometimes it's not like you're trying to be nosy, but you can't help but overhear the conversation. And then if they're saying something that's like piques your interest, you're like, what? You got a job in their internal audit department and a Caymanian didn't get the job? What? Now, a few of y'all were like, oh, how do you know this person telling the truth? First of all, I know the person. And the person wouldn't lie about something like this. They're a good, solid person. They have worked in and around government for umpteenth years. People don't just randomly go around making this stuff up. Caymanians don't sit down and say, oh my God, let us think about how to make a Canadian expat who works in the internal audit department at government look bad. That's not who we are. Generally Caymanians are a little bit too welcoming if you ask me. Open arms, come on in. All y'all come in. And so, for the person to be this upset about what they witnessed, I believe that they witnessed what they witnessed. And it wasn't just them. These people are having such a good time over this tennis bracelet that even the employees who worked there also overheard bits and pieces of the conversation that was making that uncomfortable. Somebody said to me recently, expats come here and they don't get the benefit of any cultural introduction into the Cayman Islands. Like, this is what's acceptable. This is what you think common sense would tell you, that bragging that you got a job over a Caymanian in a public space probably isn't the best thing to do. But nobody told them that. They didn't get the memo, so they don't know. Does this sort of thing happen? Of course it happens every single day. It's like Caymanians getting it from both ends. Now, I don't know the context of the full thing. He said there's another Caymanian who's out for the job and they got it over them. I don't know if he was more qualified than the Caymanian or not. Because we've talked about on this show before that even in government, there are times when that has not happened, right? The Caymanian was actually more qualified and they didn't get their job. That's problematic when that happens. What I'd like to say to whoever this Canadian fella is in the internal audit department is maybe you need to be more careful going out there having this discussion. Because now I don't know if any Caymanians work in internal audit, but they're probably looking at him sideways this morning going, welcome to the department. You shouldn't really, it's not even a bragging point for me because I don't really see why somebody would be, yeah, maybe you're celebrating that you got the job and the promotion, but why would you need to bring up in the conversation that you got it over a Caymanian? How is that relevant? I don't even know what else to say about that situation. Seems to me that we need to keep an eye on a lot of different things around here. It's horrible. In America, you wouldn't hear an expat, and I've lived in America for 15 years, but you wouldn't hear an expat worker there tell me, oh, I got a job with an American. Child, they'd probably stone you in front of the Walmart. Emma says service is awesome. They keep their customers happy. If you don't like something, they're quick to fix it. Where's this? At Falls? Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been to Falls a lot, and there's nothing that I've ever been able to complain about there. The food is superb, and the service has always been excellent. I haven't been in a while, though. I feel like it's been years. It has been. Oh, my God. Where is the time going? I don't even know. Yeah, they can afford a tennis bracelet now. I wonder if this is her first one. Maybe she couldn't afford one before. Anyway, so I've gotten your question answered already, Darlene. That's how good we are here in Seymour. A person says, good morning. No civil servant is getting $1,000 bonus. We gave civil servants grade D, which was a $500 bonus in December. So there's your question. And there's your answer. Sorry. All right. Final topic of the morning. I was so saddened yesterday when I was listening to, Steak Social. Oh, really? The service is good, but the steak is tough. But I'm paying for the steak, am I not? I mean, I guess I'm paying for a little bit of service, but I want my food to be good. All right, I'll check it out. All right, folks. Big shout out to Grand Ole House. I went there on Friday. Hadn't been there in years. It's amazing how the Cayman actually has a lot of good restaurants, and you just can't visit them all. And I feel like I go to the same two all the time, Thai Orchid and Grand Ole House. I mean, Georgetown Yacht Club. But I went to Grand Ole House on Friday, and I had the stew kunk with some plantain. Ooh, the plantain was delicious. This kunk was good. So big shout out to Grand Ole House. Thank you. Excellent service. So over the weekend, as you guys know, there was a funeral service yesterday of Addie. And she's a 16-year-old young lady who unfortunately committed suicide some weeks ago. And man, that was tough. Wow. I really had a hard time watching the service. And quite honestly, it brought me to tears. It seems like she, I didn't know her. And, I know her dad enough to just say hello when I see him, and her mom, Rhonda, worked with Rhonda in a few projects and stuff like that. But, you look at people and you think that they have a perfect life. Like, I never knew that this young lady was struggling. And I certainly never knew that she'd had all these issues. And they shared a bit of her story during the funeral service yesterday. And I want to share some of that with you all today. And it really brought me to tears. And there was so much about it. I have so many questions still. And, she was obviously struggling with depression. She was diagnosed with depression. She had ADHD. She was diagnosed with PTSD. And, she was trying to get the medication right. She was doing therapy. She was doing counseling. And this was a young lady who apparently accepted, that she had these issues, and she was trying her best. And I thought to myself, as I was listening to the funeral service yesterday, I thought, she was only 16 years old. Adults 2 or 3 times her age who are struggling with those same issues find it difficult to cope and to deal with those issues. So, I don't know. I mean, the more I listened, the more I just felt such a sense of sadness. I mean, I cannot imagine what her parents must be going through. Now, Cayman being what it is, after she died, everybody was asking why. And of course, people started talking. And there was this talk of a sexual assault that had occurred. And I didn't know what context to put it in. One person sent a message that was circulating that someone close to her, and they actually named the person, had been abusing her. And that I couldn't believe. I said, no, I don't believe that. This family seems really, really tight. So I think whatever must have happened, it wasn't in that household. It wasn't a core member of that family. Somebody else messaged and said, oh, there was something about a sexual assault and da-da-da-da. And so I didn't know what to make of it. And then I listened to the show yesterday, the program, and her family admitted that she had been sexually assaulted for a long time. And I want you guys to listen to this. I'm going to play some segments of the service. Forgive me, but I don't want to misquote anything or get anything wrong. So I want you to listen to this. And then I want to make some general comments that has nothing to do with Addie's situation, but I think generally speaking, some things that we need to understand about sexual abuse and some other things, right? So have a listen to this. I am going to fast forward through bits of it, so just bear with me.
Jesus, have your way.
Okay, so let me try to fast forward during the point where they shared about her struggles. I'm just trying to see where it is. I think it's, yes, Addie's story. Okay, so let's see if we can.
Hey guys, so welcome back to the vlog. Hey guys, welcome.
back to the wall. So guys, welcome back to our vlog. Back here with another training video.
Instead of a traditional eulogy, we want to give you a unique glimpse into Addison's beautiful spirit, her contagious energy, the joy she radiated, but also the struggles she experienced in the last few years of her life, which shaped her into the courageous and determined person that people saw.
Hi, good morning. I'm Addison, or Addie. A lot of you guys used to know me as Madison. I recently went through a name change.
Our amazing girl was born Madison Ann Kelly, but changed her first name to Addison in 2021. This was her effort to redefine herself and to make the statement that she was more than her trauma and mental illnesses.
We will be referring to her as Addison or Addie, and we respectfully ask that everyone please make an effort to honor her spirit by using the name that she chose, one that made her feel beautiful and strong. As a father of two wonderful girls, I was hoping for a son, so I wouldn't be outnumbered, but Addie sealed my fate of being surrounded by all girls. And once I saw her little face, that was it. Heart and everything popped.
Say hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
How are you?
How are you, Mama? Is in my cup. In my cup is in my cup. My cup is. My cup is. My cup. What's in my cup is in my cup.
Addie was a ball of energy, and as she grew into her toddler phase, it often took both of her sisters to wrangle her. She was fast and eager to learn and be involved in everything. Addie was like everyone's baby sister, always the first to dance when music was playing, the loudest singing along, and the first to crack a joke.
From time she was little, Addie loved fashion and makeup and always had fun with her outfits and makeup. As Addie got older, she struggled in school, and although she was tested at 9 years old, her ADHD and dyslexia went undiagnosed. It wasn't until age 11 that her learning disabilities were finally identified. Within this same time frame, Addie became a victim of sexual assault, which took place over an extended period of time. This abuse pushed her to begin self-harming. Once the self-harming came to light, Addie demonstrated incredible strength in opening up about the abuse that she had been experiencing. She began therapy immediately, although supporting her through her trauma presented a huge learning curve. Our family stepped up for Addie and made every effort to push past common misconceptions about mental illnesses and trauma, especially those that run rampant throughout the Caribbean. Addison was dedicated to healing. She understood that a mental illness, like any other illness, required treatment.
No one knew the inner turmoil Addie was experiencing because the one thing she was consistent with was spreading energy and joy to those around her, despite her own suffering. She did find solace and peace in her church family. It was a safe haven for her, and she loved it dearly. Her relationship with God and her church family was so important to her, and she sought out every opportunity to be involved in the church, whether as a participant or a leader.
A few years passed. Addie continued with her commitment to therapy, and we worked diligently to create a home environment that encouraged her to share her unfiltered thoughts and emotions, free of any concern about invalidation or dismissal from us. She began to express feelings of progress and stability and was no longer self-harming.
Addie stayed active in the community, church, and participating in extracurricular activities like karate, football, and basketball.
You look like it hurt. Ben, you look uncomfortable.
Feeling better and ready for a change, Addie wanted to follow in her big sister's footsteps and go to boarding school.
After going through the application process, she was accepted into 3 well-respected prep schools and ultimately decided on the Williston Northampton School in Western Massachusetts.
I moved to boarding school to East Hampton, Massachusetts, and the first few months were really good. I was the only Baptist Christian there. Like everyone else was Catholic or atheist, or they just didn't like believe in God or anything. So I didn't really have anyone I could kind of lean on when it came to like God and stuff. And as much as I tried to kind of attend services and stuff, it wasn't the same as being in person. So it was kind of hard the first few months. And then I came back in December for Christmas break, and I got really used to being back in church and being around people I grew up with. And when I went back up, it was really hard because I didn't have anyone to support me anymore, because I've known most of these people all of my life, and I just am meeting half of the people I go to boarding school with. And I was battling depression and PTSD, and it got to the point where I couldn't finish school, so I ended up coming back in March, and it was really hard. As much as I was trying to go to therapy and stuff, in April, I had a suicide attempt.
After her attempt, Addie continued to work with her therapist, and in March 2021, she was officially diagnosed with depression and post-traumatic stress disorder, known as PTSD. Addie's psychiatrist and therapist continued to work closely to find the right combination of medication. It was a puzzle we all worked together to solve, Addie included, trying to treat her depression and PTSD while simultaneously managing the learning disabilities and the symptoms stemming from her ADHD. Once we struck a good balance of medication, consistent therapy treatment, and effective coping methods, Addie was determined to stay active and engaged.
During the summer, she found safe and fun outlets such as going to the beach, doing arts and crafts, and attending youth group. She also caught up on schoolwork in anticipation of starting again in the fall.
In August, Addie's team of medical professionals, our family, and Addie herself all felt she was ready to return to boarding school. She did so with joy and exuberance, excitedly greeting her classmates when she returned. Sadly, 1 week later, she made a second suicide attempt, triggered by the callous, insensitive treatment from some students about her mental health.
We knew it was time for something different. Addie herself announced her willingness to try a residential treatment facility and began earnestly searching for one. Unfortunately, due to the mental health crisis in America, there was extremely limited availability at youth facilities. We were so proud of how fiercely she advocated for her health and healing. The emotional intelligence she possessed was beyond her years. Through all of this, Addie kept doing what she loved best, dancing.
The girl them skill out chick. Thunderball. Some give it to, some give it to, some give it to our girls. 5 million and 40 naughty shorty. Baby girl, all my girls, all my girls. Thunderball say, well, on the way.
In October, a space became available, and Addie entered a 6-week treatment facility where she continued with more intensive therapy and learned healthy coping techniques. Addie yearned to get better, and she did everything within her power to claim her healing. It was at the facility that she was diagnosed with borderline personality traits, a diagnosis that helped those close to her understand her struggles and challenges much better.
After she completed her time at the facility in December, we all enjoyed a wonderful Christmas vacation in California. The first time that the 5 of us had been together in 2 years. We saw Addie's absolute favorite play, Hamilton, for her 16th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Addie. Happy birthday to you.
In January, we returned home, and Addie started grade 10 at Grace Christian Academy, where, as expected, she quickly made friends. On her good days, we saw the beauty of her effortless ability to connect with anyone, and we also witnessed her determination to push through days when the pain was unbearable.
On Tuesday, The 8th of February 2022, Addison, unable to continue her long, painful battle, chose to depart from our world, leaving her heartbroken family and friends behind. When we see sequential numbers on the clock, like 222 or 1111, we always list what we're grateful for. It's usually small things, like grateful for this sandwich or grateful for time with you. Since Addie left us, we've seen these numbers more frequently, and what we have been and will continue to be is grateful for you, Addie, always.
Addison advocated for herself and others in a way that changed our family and anyone who came in contact with her.
I just wanted to share that because I know there's some people, old, young, everyone goes through some type of battle, and you're not alone. If no one here can help you, God can always help on you, and you can always lean on Him.
She embraced every avenue of support so courageously that it inspired almost everyone who came in contact with her to step into their own truths, to follow her lead, and be unapologetically themselves.
And though we will never fully understand why she left us the way she did, we wish more than anything Addie could be here to share this story with you herself. But we will continue to tell her story, to share in the joy of her memory. Her light, her energy, and her infectious laugh will be forever missed.
Doing some weird, inappropriate dance. Unbelievably sad, but I wanted to share that with you guys in case some of you did not have an opportunity to watch the service yesterday. It was beautiful. I'd encourage you to go and watch it. Just some general comments. There was a lot packed in there that I think a lot of people in Cayman don't understand. For example, borderline personality disorder, what that is. I think we need to be having conversations around these topics. The fact that she was being sexually abused, and I heard, I think it was her mom that said, this was something that she had been subjected to for a sustained period of time, and it's one of the ills of the Caribbean or something like that. And I thought, for every single time I get on the show and I talk about that particular ill and how it impacts young children, male, female, and sometimes it just isn't something that they can cope with. So it can trigger depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, all of that because someone was taking advantage of this young girl. I want to make some general comments. I've heard so many stories over the years of families that have abusers in their midst. We were talking about an alleged case a couple weeks back where chances are there will be no justice. What I find so interesting is that people in the region are willing to move on from episodes and stories of abuse so quickly. They get back to life as normal. And the victims are the ones, not the perpetrators. The victims are the ones who remain imprisoned, who have to live on a daily basis with the fallout of the trauma that they sustained. The perpetrators were able to continue to go to school, still be part of the families when sometimes it's family members that they're abusing. They're included in holidays and interactions, even sometimes at the expense of the victim themselves. So you can imagine being victimized by someone, and you have to be around that person. You have to still see that person. You must be the one to get therapy to try to get over this traumatic situation that has occurred in your life. Some families are ashamed. They don't want to name the perpetrator. They don't want them to go to jail. They don't want them to be dealt with. So the victim gets no justice. I just cannot. I got to tell you the truth. A lot of times it angers me when I hear stories of what victims have had to endure. And then I look at the perpetrators and I see them, like when I sit in court and they're sitting there, oh, this didn't happen. This 11-year-old's a liar. And, I'm just like, it hurts me and it angers me like all at the same time. And the community doesn't speak out the way in which we need to be speaking out. And the few that do, you're labeled as, oh, you're going to get in trouble. They're going to do this to you. We're going to lock you up if you put up a sex offenders registry. Well, you know what? They're going to have to start locking people up because listen, I, for one, I'm really sick and tired of perpetrators getting away scot-free. They hide. Last week, I talked about this guy. This is at least his third known victim, Tony O'Connell Ebanks. He's raped an adult. He sexually molested an 11-year-old, and then he went after a 5-year-old. What's next? A baby? A 2-month-old? Unfortunately, these people don't stop. And they have to be stopped by the penal system would be great. But, at some point they get out of jail and they continue their rampage of hurting other people. And I just feel like in this community, we need to speak up more on this issue. We need to start saying to families, you cannot protect perpetrators. I don't care how old they are. A lot of them start as teenagers or preteens. They start very young. The good news is the younger you catch them, if you can get them in therapy, they're more likely to be able to control their impulses and their behaviors. They are ruining people's lives. And if you think for 1 second that a perpetrator is going to stop with your child, your niece, your granddaughter, you need to think again. It is the one offense that recidivism, in other words, the fact that they're going to do it again, is out the roof. It has the highest rate of recidivism of any crime out there. They will keep doing it every opportunity they get. They're not going to stop. And so as a community, it is our responsibility to be very clear in our messaging. We need to stop cloaking child molesters up just because they are family. Start exposing them for who they are. Exposure is one way in which you can protect victims, because if people know this person's a child molester, you know what I'm saying? You know what to do. You know how to protect your child. You stay away from child molesters. You don't incorporate them into family gatherings. You don't invite them to Christmas parties, invite them over to your house and leave them with your children. So having a frank and open discussion about who these monsters are, they're living in plain sight amongst us, is really, really important. Tony O'Connell Ebanks was well hidden. Couldn't find a picture of this man to save my life, but guess what? There's no one quite as determined as CMR. There he is. He'll be out. Do 60% of 8 years. He'll be out in that amount of time. Looking for the next victim. Make sure this is one image, one face that is embedded in your brain. But what I want to say to you is, for every Tony O'Connell Ebanks that's out there that gets caught, there are 20 more plus, because it is the most underreported type of offense. There's 20 more out there just like him, molesting and abusing children, adults, the works, that you can never put a face to because you don't know who they are. They're in your families. They're cousins, they're uncles, they're grandfathers, they're stepfathers. They're the neighbor next door. They're the man in church. who wants to take your kids fishing. They're the coach, the basketball coach, the football coach, whatever. You gotta stay on your game, folks. I'm sure that we will probably hear more in due course about Addison's struggles. Her mom has said that she wants to share her story in hopes of helping other people. I don't know. All I can say is that young lady was clearly going through a lot. And now I certainly understand better why she was so despondent. And why she probably felt like there was no hope. I mean, I can't even imagine a 16-year-old child having to deal with all of that. Abuse for God knows how long, sustained abuse. She started to self-harm, depression, a learning disability on top of it. And it was just so shocking that she was able to maintain as much of a smile on her face as she did. But I guess that was all just masking really what was happening. Kevin Watler is working on a series, folks, that we're going to have here in CMR called just that, Unmasking Mental Health. But there's so much more involved in this. I keep telling you guys that when children are victimized, they're more likely to commit suicide. They are more likely to be promiscuous, involved in drugs, and have issues as adults, and have relationship issues, coping issues. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. My hope is always prevention. I don't want to be talking about these things. I want us to find a way to protect our children. Yes, I'm going to report on every single one that I know. There was some Hurlston, by the way, the other day that was convicted, going after another young child. I think she was like 4 or 5 years old or something as well. Yeah, I'll report on them to let you guys know once they're convicted, but we need to work on the front end of this, prevention. I know this is a level of paranoia that you can't trust anybody with your child, but I'm telling you, the reality is you need to be so careful. And then when it happens, I feel like your response is really, really important, both for the perpetrator and the victim. To allow perpetrators to walk around like nothing is wrong for what they did, I cannot understand it. And it bothers me to my core. I don't know. Tracy. Nat B says, was the poor child's abuser ever punished? That seems to be a very good question. Doesn't seem so. Tracy says the victim suffers over and over again, mentally and emotionally, after the physical abuse. Darlene, share the love around, child. Share the love. Emma says, exactly. I was raped when I was 13 years old by a dominant member of today's society. Wow. And it was never dealt with, no therapy or anything. And to this day, it impacts my relationships. I want to talk about it, but I think of the impact on his kids. I don't want more people suffering, and this person is dealing with our kids on a regular basis. He's a pedophile. I try to forgive him, but then it comes right back, haunting me, and I can't let it go. I could tell you some stories of what I went through. Emma, and everybody else who has a similar story to share. And unfortunately, there's too many victims in this small community. I want you guys to reach out to Kevin Watler. Like I said, Kevin is working on this special series, and certainly one of the episodes has got to be with survivors of child abuse. I know it's a difficult topic, but if you are a survivor and you're willing to share your story, Emma and others, because there's so many, I would encourage you to reach out to Kevin so that he can do an episode from the perspective of victims and the impact that child abuse has had on them. Has her abuser been brought to justice? I'm told no. Yesterday, somebody sent me some information about the situation, including his name. And I thought, wow, I never even knew this. This is unbelievable. I don't know. Stephen feels how most of us feel, that they need to have their genitals chopped off. That would be nice. Sharon says, shame we can't get a sex registry. And, you know, over the years, I've advocated and pushed for a sex registry, but I want to be very clear. A sex offenders registry is only part of the puzzle. I also, in the petition that I gave government for the sex offenders registry, advocated for mandatory reporting. That has been implemented in the children's law, where if you see something or you suspect something, now you have a legal obligation to report it, and the relevant authorities will investigate it. Now, sometimes the relevant authorities just dropping the ball. I told y'all about a young lady who at the age of 12 was accosted by her stepfather, right? And that family, because her mother was in on the cover up, this is what's happening. Oh, we're going to buy you a cell phone. We're going to buy you this. We're going to buy you that. People rape your children and then think that a cell phone will do the trick. Other members of the family have been really concerned, and they've been expressing their concerns with me. And every time they message me, I in turn would message the police commissioner. And finally last week, the police commissioner said, I think something is wrong here. And I said, yes. These aunts and grandmothers, they're not concerned for no reason. Come on now. There's a reason why they're saying this isn't right. Something has happened to this child. Why wasn't the grandmother interviewed? Why wasn't this one interviewed? Because the child went to people and talked. And just because the mother says, oh, nothing happened, you're going to believe the mother who's so desperate for man, she would take anything in and allow him to go after her own daughter to keep a man? Families do the most unusual things to protect people around them. And so victims, whether you're a child victim or whatever, you need to know there should be a hotline, for God's sake, for people to anonymously report sex crimes, for children to be able to call and say, I am being abused. I need help. Because sometimes you can't do it within families. Because within the families, there's no real protection. Emma, I'm going to send you Kevin's information. Florida says, Sandy, I feel the same way about sexual abuse. What I don't understand is, why is it kept a secret? Shout it out and let the world know. Why not tell someone you can trust to help you or help you to get help? Why hold on to it? Stop protecting these molesters, whether a family member or friend or someone you don't even know. My mind is blown at the amount of sexual abuse we have here in Cayman, especially our young children. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And there's many reasons why victims themselves will remain silent. And one of the biggest reasons is because they don't have the support in the environment. They think people are going to blame me. Like I did something to deserve this, or I'm going to break up a family, or, you know, there's just so many people, so many reasons. Jennifer says, I'm so angry at how can we as parents that's supposed to love and protect our children protect these criminals? Because sometimes, to be fair to parents, they are trying to protect the children because they're like, okay, if we go through a trial, there is trauma involved. and having to testify, having to go through this long investigation, having to talk to all these strangers, these detectives. Like, some people feel like, let's just move on as quickly as possible. But you need to ask victims how they feel about it, I think. Instead of people trying to make that decision for a victim, you talk to the victims. I had a mother some months back. There was a case with this guy at the airport, works CIAA, who was accused of having molesting a child. You don't use the term having a relationship with a 13-year-old because there is no such thing. A 13-year-old can't give consent. That's child abuse. That's rape, sexual abuse, defilement. So let's call it what it is, right? And there was numerous people allegedly that he'd been doing this to. And one of the parents reached out to me and she said, listen, after this came to light, I just wanted to get over it and move on. Don't want to think about it. Don't want to deal with it. It was her teenage daughter who said, no, Mom, he has to be stopped. I want to go to the police. Because if he's not stopped, he's going to do it again. I'm like, the teenage daughter is the one telling the mother that? Because the mother is so quick to, let's just sweep it under the rug so we can move on and pretend like nothing has happened. I think that is a coping mechanism, but it's not the right way to do it. And yes, perpetrators, whether they're an alleged Prince Andrew or whoever, billionaire Jeff Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, or whether it's your uncle who lives next door, they get away relatively easy with what they're doing, the lives that they're ruining. And I think as a community, we need to make some adjustments and we need to stop it. Moya says, so true, Emma. I've struggled with the same issue, and sometimes even seeing members of that person's family is very triggering. You see, this is what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, because Cayman is so small, a lot of victims are subjected to seeing their perpetrators. Moya says, I feel a support talk group is needed in the Cayman Islands, like the same for AA, where people can come together and talk about their trauma and support each other in hard days. That's an excellent idea. It's an excellent idea, Moya. Is there not a survivors group of child sexual abuse? Somebody needs to start this. It's therapeutic to know that you're not alone, to know that there are other people out there who have suffered, and to know that they are, even though it's difficult, they are surviving every single day. I think that's a great idea. Gabby says there's a lot of men and women in this community walking with those hidden scars from childhood. Something has to be done now to protect our children. Folks, reach out to Kevin, because one of the first things that you need to do is we need to strip away this stigma that's attached to it, as though there's something wrong with you. If you are, I don't even want to say survivor, if you are a victor over this type of trauma, you should be sharing your story. And isn't it funny how Emma is more concerned about protecting him and his children? I mean, I get the point about the children, but really you want to protect him. He's a person in this community. Who was protecting you? Even now. And this is one of the quandaries with child abuse. A lot of times the victim feels very conflicted, especially if it's somebody that they know, that they trusted, that they loved. Because they're like, oh, this is supposed to be my favorite uncle or my dad, or, you know, and yet this person has done this thing to me, which I know is wrong, but you still want to protect them. There's another young lady that I spoke to who, she was a victim, not Caymanian, but she lives here now. She has residency. And she said, Sandy, the reason why I can't talk about it is because my parents are still alive. And as long as my parents are alive, I can't talk about it because they're going to blame themselves And I don't want them having that guilt now as, seniors in their old age. And I'm thinking every victim, it's like they want to put other people before themselves. They put the perpetrator's family, the perpetrator's children, their mothers, and the people around them. It was a stepfather, so I don't want my mom to be upset with me. Everybody else is prioritized. What healing does the victim get? So Luis says, I met a lady who needed someone to talk to. She was a domestic worker, and she told me she was fired from her job because she discovered that her boss, the father of a month-old baby, was abusing her sexually. She told the wife, in turn, she was fired for it. What a sick situation. Wow. I hope that she went to the police with this story. I hope that this is not the sort of thing that you, just because you get fired, you leave alone, folks. We have to be prepared to protect children and others around us. And a baby, please, my God, Luis, tell me that she went to the police. Because if he can do that to a month-old baby and his wife is told this and your response is to fire the helper, I can't even tell you what I think should be done to the wife. Why are we enabling people? Why are we protecting these monsters? That says more about us than the friggin' monsters. I could never in a million years think of oh my God. When I tell you I'd rather go sit in Fairbanks, believe me, that is the one offense that I would gladly defend a child for. What? You're going to fire the helper? Y'all need help. Nat B says that should be the victim's choice, not the parents, as to whether they want to prosecute or publicly out their rapist and molester. And a lot of people now are turning to social media to do so, even years after their abuse. It may not have ever even gone to trial, but some people are saying, this person has lived their entire life free of any consequences. I'm going to out them on social media. I see it all the time. And some people are like, oh, well, it's not fair. Now, really? It's not fair that finally a victim finds their voice and they're like, enough is enough. Moya says, unfortunately, as a victim, it takes you many years to come to terms with that you were not at fault and that you were a child and what the person did was absolutely wrong. This is why I made sure to educate my children from toddlers and ensure to speak to them daily to reinforce it. I still speak with my 18-year-old daughter about protecting her space. Thank you, Moya. Luis confirms that she did go to the police. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you, Diana. Even that guy, he hasn't been sentenced yet, but the one who molested those 6 children, what's his name again? The Jamaican Indian guy there. Anyway, it'll come to me. Someone messaged and said, oh, in Jamaica, the little town that he's from, they're like, no, he didn't do that. His family's claiming that he's being set up by these people here. And I said, it's so interesting that you're reaching out from Jamaica to say what people in Jamaica are saying, because one of his victims from Jamaica from a long time ago when she was a child messaged and said, he did this to me. I tell you, they don't stop. Years ago, he did this to me before moving to the Cayman Islands when I was a child. And nobody protected me. Nobody wanted to believe me. And here he is again, getting the opportunity now to do it to 6 Caymanian children. Huh. Right? And as the other person started talking to me, she's like, oh, but we live in this really small town. Come to find out what she didn't know, because she was questioning, are you sure that this person... She found out it was her own sister that was the victim. And she's questioning, like, maybe that wasn't true. And then eventually she put two and two together and discovered it was her own sister who hadn't told her, but she had been a victim. The excuses that people want to make for perpetrators is just shocking and unbelievable. Ugh. Someone says here, by protecting the person, you're number one, letting them get off the hook. And number two, maybe giving them the chance and opportunity to do it to many others. I understand the shame that you feel as a victim of abuse and not feeling that you can speak up. The more we get it out there, that you are and still continue to be trusted and supported and not shamed, the better for those of us. It has to stop. You have to normalize the conversation. That's the thing. It's like mental health. We have to normalize the conversation about mental health. You're struggling with mental health? Nothing wrong with saying, I'm struggling with depression. I'm struggling with bipolarism. I'm trying to get help, you know? Stop judging people because they admit to these things. Just like survivors. We have to normalize someone coming forward and saying, I was victimized. It is shocking. You're going to be in disbelief when you hear the details of what this person did to me and who did it. But give people the space to be able to open up. Someone shared that said there have been efforts in the past to start a survivors group, but people didn't attend because the fear and stigma is overwhelming. Maybe things have changed, right? Maybe things have changed now. We went through this hashtag Me Too movement where a lot of people were fessing up. We've been through seeing a prince fall from grace because of allegations of molesting a 15, 16-year-old child. We weren't where we were 5 years ago. Every opportunity I get, I'm talking about it because I'm trying to normalize it. I'm trying to say there's nothing wrong with you. Somebody took advantage of you as a child, and that's not right. Speak up. Let others, let children know in particular that you can survive this. You can get through this. People come to me all the time. They open up. People I don't even know. Sandy, thank you. I'm a survivor. I was victimized I had one lady tell me her own brother. She confronted him not that long ago after being suicidal. She said how she walked into the ocean. She wanted to drown herself. She's decided, no, I'm not going to take my life because of this. I'm going to confront him. And all these years later, as an adult, like in her 50s, she confronted him. What a monster. He's still denying it. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't remember correctly. That was somebody else. But you know, weight has been lifted off of her to be able to confront him. And she told him a few choice words. And then she found out her sister, who she always thought was protecting him, was also a victim. Oh my God. When she's sharing this with me, I'm thinking, wow. But so much of it happens. Somebody say if they wonder if I took my blood pressure meds today, I'm still alive. Child, I took them last night. You know, the pressure probably spiked a couple times. Someone says, I think part of the problem is our sexualization of boys from a young age. Yes, that's a big problem. That's the Caribbean culture, the Cayman culture. We don't see nothing wrong with telling boys 8 and 9 years old that they're a man and that they can start having sex and this, that, and the next thing. And a lot of them are going after their little 8-year-old cousins or sisters or, you know, the 5-year-old next door. This person says, why aren't the people who are commenting on Facebook calling the names of the people they know are abusers? And it's those who put themselves last who help perpetuate the cycle. I know. Trust me, I know. All right. We're going to keep talking about this. I'm going to beat this in y'all's head one way or the other. Dawn says that some of the victims live with this for the rest of their lives, and you really never get over it, especially when it happened when you were a child. Men, women, everybody's suffering. Diana says, anyone do this to my 16-year-old, I will call the police, but you know what she means. She called them to pick up a body, not to take them off to jail. Dawn says some of us victims never get over it, especially when we were victimized by family members or by close people, go to family who are authority positions. Even when you do tell some family members what's going on, they blame you. And that's part of the problem, right? That we want to blame children. Like a child has any control over that sort of thing. It's just unbelievable. All right. I know we're completely into overtime this morning, but let me just briefly discuss a little something here as well. So, changing gears. Yesterday, yeah, somebody's asking me about this. This is exactly what I was going to talk about. Gentle reminder, did he burn the board? He does look like the guy that's a fireman. So listen, last night, this man reached out to me. Let me see if I have that saved here. And he said, Sandy, we're at the beach. We lost this board. Let me see if I can find it. Oops, that's not I don't think I've uploaded these. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull these images up. I feel like I got to talk about this because some of y'all don't even know what the definition of theft is. And I find this very, very disturbing that you don't know that it's not finders, keepers. What was that thing we used to say in school? Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. That's in the real world. That's the kind of thing that will get you sent to jail. Okay. Let's work through this one. So I received a message saying, Miss Sandy, we lost the board. This was posted up on a group, but this is essentially what the message was. The husband reached out and said, hey, my wife lost her board. He said, funny enough, her name is Sandra too. So here's what happened. She lost her board. Have a read of that. So they're giving someone the benefit of the doubt, saying, if you found the board, picked it up by mistake, just return it. No questions asked. Yeah, we just want to get our board back. They left it in the bushes and it was gone. So it turns out that somebody found it all right, because not even 2 minutes after I made the post on social media saying, hey, if you saw this board, they sent a sample photo of what it looks like. Please let us know. I got a private message saying, hey, Sandy, check this out. Look, yeah, this is the board on EK Trade for sale. $156. Oh, hold on. This is the original post. They put up a picture of the board. Right? They have it listed for sale. Let me do a screen share here. All right, there it is. $150. Wakeboard for lady, make me an offer. How do they know it's for lady? Do they come in different sizes? Could they tell from the foot size? I don't even know. I don't know anything about boards. I don't know. Wakeboard for lady, make me an offer. They have it on sale for $150 saying, make me an offer. They got their phone number. Wow. Bold, because that number belongs to Antonio McLaughlin from East End. Well, that certainly puts him in the area. Doesn't take a genius to figure out that, where was it again? East End, kite surfing, by Tuca. Board goes missing. East Ender then puts it up for sale with his mobile number. Okay. So we posted up and say, listen, you're all a bunch of thieves. Thief alert. Antonio McLaughlin selling a stolen board in EK. Wow, imagine the nerve. And naturally, enough y'all coming to people's defense. Poor Cindy, trying to defend this bad behavior. She says, well, to be fair, you did state that the owner left it in the bush, not saying it's right to pick it up for sale, but he probably felt it was abandoned, so rightfully he didn't steal it. No. That is not what you do if you find something. Now listen to me, folks. We have a lot of people every single day that find stuff, right? In the bushes, people drop their wallets. People found a bag of money that dropped off a car that was $10,000 in it. Well, it fell off the car, so it's mine. That's not how it works. First of all, it's very simple. The definition of theft is actually pretty simple. Section 235 of the Penal Code 2019 revision gives you a basic definition of theft at page 108. And how does it define theft, my good people? It says, basic definition of theft. A person commits theft if he dishonestly appropriates property belonging to another with the intention of permanently depriving the other of it, and thief and steal shall be construed accordingly. It is immaterial whether or not the appropriation is made with a view to gain or is made for the thief's own benefit. And then it goes on to say, I want y'all to pay attention to this now. This is important. It actually gives you exceptions to the rule when something might actually not be theft. So a person's appropriation of property belonging to another is not to be regarded as dishonest if he appropriates, so these would be the defenses that you potentially have. If he appropriates the property in the belief that he has in law the right to deprive the other of it on behalf of himself or a third person. If he believes he has their consent. Or he believes that they cannot be discovered by taking reasonable steps. So this is 26(1)(c) is the excuse that Cindy is saying could be at play here. Let me say this much. When you find something, folks, okay, that does not belong to you, in this day and age, what's the first thing that you do? Well, if you're really trying to find the owner, the first thing you do is contact Cayman Mall Road. Our page reaches 6.4 million people the other day. So everybody in Cayman, whether they like it or not, be all over Cayman Mall Road. You know, the wallets with money, the driver's licenses, the passports, the jewelry that we have reunited people with over the past almost 5 years. Their dogs, their cats, their very children go missing. They put it up on Cayman Mall Road. So if you take reasonable steps, and you know, this reminded me of a time when I was accused of stealing somebody's dog. Y'all remember this back in 2009? That's how things would mean the police got kicked off, child, because apparently my entire life, I was a law-abiding citizen until 2009. Then I decided to steal somebody's dog, and since then, it's all gone to hell in a handbasket because the police call me every other week trying to charge me with something. The irony of it is I could demonstrate at least 6 things that I did to try to find the owner of the dog. I put it on EK. I put it on CNS. I sent it out on BBM because back then we didn't really have WhatsApp. So we still sending BBM messages. I sent it out on BBM message. I put it on social media. I had it blasted all over the place. I went to the local vet up the street. I called Animal House. In my area, does anybody report a dog? I have a dog. I was blasting it all over Kingdom Come. So when the police stepped to me, but I stole this woman's dog, I said, you better come better than that. That's why judge threw out the case, magistrate, because they ain't not got no sense. That's not someone who's trying to permanently deprive you of something. That is someone who's trying to find the rightful owner. When you are trying to put something up on sale that you just found and you've taken no steps to try and find the owner, that is the very example and definition of theft. Why are you selling something for $150 that is not yours? Now, Florida says, I believe he's a fireman, apparently. I don't know who he is, but listen here now. Who he is somebody who not got no damn sense. Now, don't y'all go yelling from the rooftops, but I don't like EastEnders later. Wakeboard for lady, make me an offer. That was the first post. After a post went up and the people contacted him, he amended the post. Hi! Here, this donkey now, jackass of the week. Post amended to say, I put this up on EK, so if anyone lost it, would contact me. I found the board today. I didn't take it. What the hell, dude? Seriously? Really? Wow. No, somebody says that they actually retail for $1,100. What? These boards are expensive. Anyway, he was thinking of getting a quick $150. By amending this after the fact about how you found it, that is stupid, as stupid gets. Let me tell you, if you were an honest person, what you would have done. Say for example, now, what his name is? Alberto McLaughlin. What his name is again? Say now that he never heard of Cayman Mall Road, right? So he's one of them EastEnders that live in a cave and he don't know what's going on. And he has never heard of Cayman Mall Road, yeah? All right. Let's assume that not everybody necessarily have heard of Cayman Mall Road. What I would expect, that same EK that he obviously has heard of, follow me now. The same way you can put the board up for sale, could you not have posted it and said, board found? I'd like to return it to the rightful owner. Now, the picture of the board, let me see if I can get a better picture than this one. Hold on. The board looks pretty good to me in terms of the condition. So, I mean, I don't really think this is a beat up board where you're like, oh, Antonio McLaughlin, thank you. This don't look like a board that somebody would have just thrown down in the bushes. I mean, you're trying to get $150 for it. You think it has some value. It's not a board that had seaweed growing all over it and that had been abandoned for months for you to think, oh, nobody don't want this. Right? Here's a better picture. The board looks like it's in pretty decent condition to me. I don't know who Antonio McLaughlin is because somebody sent me this and said, there you go, there he is. But sir, with all due respect, if you were called a thief on Cayman Mall Road, you could see how we could have come to such a conclusion. I'm just saying. It is not an unreasonable description given your behavior. You did stuff with this board in the little time that you had it that is absolutely redunculous. So now he got one big thing up. The board was found not stolen. By the way, it's still up on EK. He still has it listed for $150. The rightful owners have come forward and he's refusing to give them the board. In fact, he is saying now this should be free to the rightful owner. He is saying now that because he's been called a thief, he's going to burn the board. This is what he told the people on, they commented on CMR about this. He's going to burn the board. So let's go to CMR Facebook page. And again, if you're an honest person, right? And there was some mix up with this board and whatever. The right person comes forward. Wouldn't you just give them back the board? What are you talking about you're going to burn the board for? Now, some of y'all gonna be like, well, Sandy, you know, when you found the dog, you didn't return the dog, but y'all don't know the full story of how that actually went. Do you know that it was actually a magistrate who told me not to return the dog? That they believed that in law, the police were completely wrong? But more importantly, this was a living animal that I had concerns about how the poor thing was being treated. Because it had all kind of hits along the head and all kind of stuff. Let me see here now. Oh no, I think it was this original post. Let me see. Oops. So Ruth Carlos says that was fast. Joan says our forefathers would be turning in their graves. You find something and you publicly advertise it with a price tag. No police or loudmouth should have been involved in this matter, other than the finder. Seek help from the police. Yeah, that would have taken a good 12 weeks. We posted up and 2 seconds later, we know who the board belongs to. So the owners actually went on to say, I don't know where it is here now. I'm trying to find it, but they went on to say that the irony of it is, maybe it was on this original post, but anyway, somewhere they posted that they actually contacted him about the board, and he said he's going to burn their board. Wow. So he's going to be charged with thievery, being a thief, and property damage as well. Our forefathers should be turning in their graves because Caymanians didn't used to be this desperate for $150. We were the type of people who do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing. No one had to tell you to do the right thing. You found something, you turned it in. You don't go to a sales website and post it up for sale. This isn't who we're supposed to be, but apparently, welcome to the Cayman Islands. Paradise, where somebody will steal your board and then post it up for sale. Dawn, can I get you to reach out to Kevin as well? I think you started a conversation here that needs to continue. We got Dawn, Emma, Moya, and others. Please come forward. Florita says that you can't fix stupid. Well, Antonio McLaughlin. What a mess. That's the same number. Now, someone did this, and I had to chuckle when they sent me this, because to be honest, it is a little bit funny. This is his Facebook page, my tweet him, and they use this little icon, this little emojicon of me, Lord have mercy, where he says he's honest, straight, and caring. Well, maybe you are a caring person. I don't know you, Antonio, so I don't want to make any dispersions. But now your honesty and your straight has been called into question. You really don't do this sort of thing if you're honest and straight. I got to tell you, right? There should not even be a second thought about returning something to the rightful owner. Listen, y'all remember when I found over $180,000 in my bank account that wasn't my money? It did not even occur to me that, oh my God, Sandy, go on Amazon right now and do some shopping. My first thing is, somebody's made a mistake because I know I ain't got no money in the bank and that is not my money. So the first thing I did was email the bank. I posted it on Facebook too because I thought it was funny. But I emailed the bank. I think y'all made a mistake. I don't know if that's somebody's salary or what this is, but it ain't my money. Please take it out. I don't want no mix up with y'all people. And the irony of it is, CNB called me back and they're like, we need your permission in writing to remove the money. Because then if we have to go through, if you say no, which apparently I can't tell them don't touch my account, they have to go through a longer process to reverse the transaction. Whereas if I just tell them in writing, yeah, take it out, it's no problem. I wasn't creating no issue. I'm like, please, I will send you that email. Take your money back and give it to whoever. It was actually a deposit. Someone was buying property. Got one digit wrong when they sent it over from Royal Bank or wherever they were sending it from. First Caribbean, I think it was. And it landed in my account instead of the person that the deposit was for. It's not mine. You find something, it does not belong to you. You know, over the years, how many dogs I have found? They're not mine. Take your dog back. Take your children, take your husband. If I find them on the street, I got to try and give them back too. Caymanians, do better. We know better. We were raised better than this. Well, some of y'all, I'm beginning to not wonder how y'all were raised. But we supposedly were raised better than this. Please, let's elevate the standard, not just for the expat population, because y'all got standard for them, but for our own people. Yes, hold them to a standard. We don't want to be inviting riffraffs into this country, thieves and prostitutes and this and that. But guess what? Hold those same standards for yourself. That's all I'm asking. Now, I don't know what the outcome of the situation with the board is. Let me see if I got any messages here. I can tell you if they've messaged since. Just do the right thing and return the people on board. It's simple. Oh, speaking of which, we have a wallet that has been found for Luis Otis Romario. If y'all know him, have him message. Let me show you what he looks like a little bit here. There he is. It looks like Luis Otis Romario, elector, registration, identification card, Jamaican national. Y'all see his little picture there? If you know Mr. Romario, tell him that his wallet has been found. And we will reunite him with his wallet. Every single day, people messaging that have found something. That's why I don't understand how Mr. McLaughlin could think that he could exercise this type of thing. Oh, he messaged on Facebook saying he didn't steal no board. Then give it to the people. Simple. Return it. What a hot mess. So somebody else, police are on location about this young lady who posted that she wanted to kill herself. Please, folks, if you feel despondent, reach out for help. Oh, Lord, have mercy. So someone broke the glass at Uncle Bill's in an attempt to gain access, but were unsuccessful. Oh, they've got camera footage. Would you post on Facebook and hope something? Yes, of course. Of course, we gotta help you find these thieves. Send it on. Send it on, my love. We gonna help you find every thief in Cayman. They probably Caymanians. Just saying. We got our own criminal element. Burning the board. Y'all got some nerves. You need to burn your bad-mindedness. Taking something from people, no one give it back. Oh, yes, here's the post. I think maybe they took it down or I can't find it. Ask for it back, and he said that he's going to burn it. No, sir. Y'all not easy. Y'all not easy at all. Marshall says, not in a cave. I thought cave days were gone and over with. Child, some of them act like they're living in cages. They're acting very barbaric. And I got no scruples. Atlas says, normally in Cayman, if you find something in the bush or even on a sidewalk, it's considered disposal. I think that's how most people see it anyway. No, honey child. That is not how most people see it. Especially if it's obvious that it's not a piece of junk that has been discarded. If you find something in the garbage bin, like someone has purposely thrown it away, that's a different thing. So, no. You find a wallet on the sidewalk or in the bush, are you really going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep that with all the contents? No. People don't think that. Do people think that way? Well, I can tell you the vast majority of people do not think that way. And I can tell you because every single day I receive messages from people who have done the right thing. So the fact that y'all don't do the right thing really says a lot. So, no, folks. Oh, we got some footage. Let's see if we can help catch a thief. Uncle Bill's. All right, hold on a second now. Well, let this be a lesson to you in case you were confused about when you find something. If you find something and it does not belong to me or belong to you, sorry, by all means, folks, let the authorities know. Post it on social media. Try to find the rightful owner. It isn't yours. All right, let's find the thief. All right, here we go. See if you can identify this thief. Oh my God. What a little thief. Oh yeah. We gonna find him, honey child. We are going to post that and make that go viral. Help us find the thief. That outfit, the hat, the slim build, I feel like somebody would definitely know who he is. Y'all have seen that crossbody. What was that, a bag? What was that? That crossbody look? What is that he got? That was where he's gonna put all the stolen goods in, or what? What is that he's wearing? Darker complexion. Check out the shoes. Check out the clothes. The hat. The hat. I feel like the hat is what's gonna trip him up. Because not everybody wears a hat like that every day. All right, we're going to post that up and help Uncle Bill's to find him, help the police to find him. We solve a lot of crimes around here for the police, I'm telling y'all. Someone says, is that already a thing on CMR? Find the thief? Well, we always help people. You know, if you've got footage, we try to help people find criminals because we don't want criminals in our community. So if you're looking for a thief, send on the footage, child. We'll help you. We've been doing so from day one. No charge either. It's our community service. Folks, I know it's been a very long show. My God. It's almost lunchtime, y'all. How did we go into so much overtime this morning? But that's what it is when the conversation's good. You know, still going strong. All right. Well, we are so blessed. Covered a lot of scammers and murderation, all kind of foolishness this morning. It's only Monday, and I'm wishing you guys a fantastic day. Really hope that you have a wonderful day today. You get out there and you work hard for what you want in life. You can have anything in life you want, almost. Hard work, determined work, do it the right way. Nobody here is going to be begrudging you. We want to see you successful. Do you. But don't do it where you're stealing from people and you're harming other people in order to get it. Fair? Fair enough? Is that a fair comment? Good people, we are getting so much closer. Good morning, Lizette. We're getting so much closer to us being on air. Bobo, soon come. I need to sit down today and actually start writing some scripts and stuff for the station. I didn't even look at the court list this week yet. I'm going to do that after the show to make sure I don't miss anything important that's popping off at court. But, you know, we want to ensure that we are keeping up with all the court sus, making sure you guys know what's going on. You guys have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about some COVID stuff, ivermectin. I can't remember what else was on the agenda for tomorrow, but lots of stuff going on. Breaking news, actually. I've asked Renee to put this story up. Bernie Madoff's sister and her husband have committed murder-suicide. Wow. I guess the husband probably killed her, but what a mess. I tell you. What a hot mess. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day, folks. Be blessed. Try to do the right thing. And that's all I got for you. Until tomorrow morning, take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.